Yo, what's up, dude? Morning. Ugh. It's dark. It's dark still. It's dark still right now. Yeah. Sunburn. You're sunburned as hell? Oh, damn, dude. Well, that's not good. Hopefully it turns into a golden tan, my friend. A golden tan. Ugh. All right, guys, today the plan is we are going to mine, we're going to farm, we're going to fish, we're going to dominate. First, I got to wait for my coffee to finish brewing. Let's look around the farm a little bit first thing, though. Also, today I'm gonna listen to, and I'll show you. I'm all paused up here, waiting for this game 7. Yeah, I'll show you what I'm about to do, dude. I'm about to listen to, and I'm gonna get a copyright strike or a flag on this recording probably. But this is what I'm gonna listen to for at least the first hour. Oh, there I am, right there. Look at that. What? 2 people watching? Where is it? Here it is, right here. This guy. I haven't watched this yet. And how long is it? Hour and 17 minutes? I need to watch this. So we're going to look at that at some point here. We're going to listen to that while I'm playing this. That's what I'm doing today. That's what my morning looks like. First, I got to get my coffee, though. I think my coffee's done. I don't hear my coffee anymore. Let me get my coffee. I got my Cliff Bars. I got to grab my coffee. I got to settle in, make sure I know what I'm doing. I think we're farming. I think we're mining, possibly. But I'll look at that, and then I got to get my coffee. Gotta get my coffee. I just woke up. Dude, I slept good. I slept from like 10 o'clock to like 8 o'clock, dude. I slept like 10 hours probably. I don't know. Like a lot of hours. OKC blowout is limit, you think? I hope so. Bro. I got a $5 bet with a kid at work. I told him, I said, I want crisp $1 bills, dude. That OKC crowd's going to be insane, for sure. Give me 1 second. Oh, dude. This is gonna be a great Saturday morning. Sunday morning. Sunday, right? Yeah, Sunday morning. It's gonna be an unbelievable Sunday morning, dude. I got my Cliff Bars for my energy. Peanut butter banana, my favorite kind, dude. I got fresh coffee. Solid coffee, dude. I did a good job brewing that coffee. Following Nuggets script to a T was a wild NBA script. Yeah, well, we'll see. I already said once that I don't think the Pacers have any magic left, and then the Pacers went ahead and smacked us around, so I'm not going to say it again. I got $5 on the line. All right, where were we? What were we doing? Oh, that's right. She was building my barn. Or my coop. Or no, that's my silo. Okay, so what I'm going to do then... It's not a chicken coop. That's a silo. For hay. For my chickens. Is that tonight though? The game's tonight, or is that to tomorrow? Ah, I can't break it. How about this one? Nice. Game 7. Oh my god. Dude, I wish there was a sports bar around here where I could just go and watch the game. Like walking distance. There's got to be. I'm trying to think. Is there like a? I mean, Harvey's Tavern, I guess, is like 6 or 7 streetlights, like probably like 3 or 4 miles walk away. I wonder if they're probably playing the game. But see, it's going to be a bunch of people rooting against the Thunder though, because I'm in Seattle. They're going to be like, "Boo! Fuck the Thunder! Let's go Pacers!" I'm gonna have to sit through that, and then I'm gonna have to like pretend I'm not excited when we win. That would suck. Yeah, because you'll never see a fan base cheer harder than us against a team we hate, dude. We are passionate about rooting for teams we hate, or rooting against teams we hate, rather. What's up, Grimace? How's Grimace doing? Okay. Let me see if I have a little money. Let me see if I can buy. Ooh, foraging. I didn't even watch Game 6 or care, to be honest. Is that right? Well. Did you figure it was over? You thought it was done? By the way, Kyle, these are the motherfuckers right here. This is the motherfucker right here. I can't say enough about this guy. If you want to talk, you want talking heads that talk ball in an interesting way. Oh, you can't see this one. That one goes invisible when I pop that up. Or maybe you can see that. I don't know if you can see that or not. But like Bill Simmons, dude. That dude is my kind of basketball talk, dude. I was saying the other day. That's the dude right there, bro. And he's consistent too, which is good. Okay, I need to find some cheap plants to plant. It's the 26th though. I only get to the 28th. I don't think I can plant anything. It's the end of the month. I forgot it's the end of the month. I was going to plant some crops. That would have been a mistake. Right now we're just waiting. Because... Yeah, well, that's the other thing. OKC might have just rested. Might have just gotten real ready for Game 7. You know what I mean? Whereas the Pacers were fucking full tilt in Game 6. So I know it's been a couple of days, so maybe that doesn't matter. But like, dude, I understand people hating on. I understand people hating on SGA. The way he plays is infuriating. I get it. Like, I get it. Cade is the same thing. Cade Cunningham's the same thing. It's infuriating the way they play. It's like, motherfucker, they're not going to ever call him for pushing off. Ever. In today's game, that's like completely allowed, which is crazy. All right, where was that one at? Return to Demetrius. Okay. I need that money. I mean, I've been saying it. Like it's I'm kind of a hypocrite because my favorite teams both have point guards that play in a way that makes me furious, but somehow I am okay with it because they're on my team. It's like I get that I'm kind of a hypocrite with that. It's like, dude, I gotta live with myself. Because Cade, Luca, Harden was the originator. Not the originator, but like the in this generation, he was the godfather of it. SGA, Brunson. This could be the OT. True. This could be the game where it goes to overtime, dude. I've been predicting that forever and a day too, haven't I? Dude, what if this was the game where it goes to overtime? That's a good point. I hadn't considered that. Ooh. I don't know. I just don't know, dude. It's a bummer. What the fuck? Jesus, that's scary. Almost just died right there. And I have nothing to eat. That's not good. Oh, thank God, there it was right there. Nope, we're not doing that again. We're out of here. I'm almost out of energy, so I can't afford to be down in the mines, like running around like an idiot, because I'll get killed, and then that's bad. We don't want that. I can't afford it. Wood. And mining type resources. Get. Actually, I should grab these out right now. Oh, that's right. I've been saving up the fish. Yeah, bitch. I've been saving up the fish. I forgot about that. Okay. Alrighty, now we're going to listen to... I got nothing else to say. We're going to listen to this. That seems loud. Skip. I can't skip.
Steve, you always buy books, but I never see you reading.
Paperweights. Hey, do you mind getting this because I only have euros?
My pleasure, because I earn unlimited 2% cash back.
We split that.
No.
Unlimited 2% cash
Skip.
back. The Wells Fargo Active Cash credit card.
All right.
All right, we're live on YouTube. It's the Bill Simmons podcast. Zach Lowe is here. Rob Mahoney is there. It's the first time for the three of us together. It's a little new, almost like OKC playing defense today, where it looked like they never played defense before. Zach, what was your big takeaway? Because I don't understand what OKC was doing in this game with the tournament, the trophy, everything, sitting 2.5 hours away, and it was a no-show.
Two big takeaways. Number one, the Pacers are awesome. I didn't see this coming. I thought OKC was going to clinch it today.
Same.
It wouldn't have surprised me if OKC won rather easily. And Indiana's like, no, we don't go out like that. Cap strain, whatever. Tyrese Halliburton, perfect balance between kind of being an off-ball decoy and then taking the reins when it made sense, and just TJ McConnell doing got a McConnell, another McConnell, and they're just awesome. Second takeaway, OKC played like a team that knew what was at stake and was a little bit nervous. And I thought Shea forced it really, forced it early. Some bad turnovers, some bad shots. They were just skittish and not in a rhythm. And you know what? It is the biggest game that any of them have ever played, and it looked like the biggest game that any of them ever played. They lost this game because their offense was miserable, and Indiana won the turnover battle, and they had no assists and no threes. Same formula for losing a lot of these games for them.
Yeah, if their offense was terrible, it's because the Pacers made it terrible. And if Oklahoma City didn't show up, it's because the Pacers, frankly, rescinded their invitation in this game. I think we talk a lot about the connectivity of the Pacers on offense, but I think this is just one of the most connected teams, period, that we've seen, certainly this season, even relative to the Thunder, which is really saying something. But even in recent memory, other teams have had more talent that have been incredibly connected. The Pacers are really talented, they're really capable, they're really smart, and they just figure out how to dominate a game like this on defense of all things.
End of the first half, Indy's up 22. OKC is 1 for 11 from 3. They have 3 assists. They have 0 steals. Yep. And that's where I bring up the why didn't they show up thing, because Zach, we were at game 4, and Dort and Caruso just put their imprint all over that game from the get-go, and especially in the second half. And Dort was such a beast. And neither of those guys were there at all in the game today. And when you take that out, and Indy had some room to run, I guess the bigger question for me is, were they rope-a-doped a little bit by this Halliburton injury situation? It almost seemed like they were surprised that he had that in them, which I didn't really understand. They weren't attacking him like the game we went to, game 4, Zach, where they were picking him up full court and really trying to bully him around, take him out of the game. It was almost like they didn't understand how he was doing what he was doing, which was kind of how I felt, because by the time we got to this game, it seemed like he was going to be rolled out in a wheelchair and was just going to limp around. It wasn't like that at all.
Yeah, weird game across the board, right? Like the stakes, the pressure, the championship on the line for you, and not necessarily on the line. You have another chance, but it's there. It's sitting there. They're bringing in the champagne, and they're going to have the plastic wrap over the locker. And you also know the best player on their team is injured to some degree, and is he going to play? Is he not going to play? How well is he going to play? Is he going to change the way that he plays? I thought they went at him a little bit when Indiana was on defense in the first half, had a couple successful possessions. I would just do it every single time. I thought they poked around here and there with some interesting matchups and poked at different places, but I don't think they poked at him enough. But look, I mean, Indiana played awesome. This was an awesome defensive performance from a team that has gelled into a really good defensive team. And look, Oklahoma City got its blowout win in Game 2. This is the first real Pacers blowout win. The biggest lead of the series was 12. They announced that on the first half of the broadcast. And the series is now like pretty even. I think the final margin going into Game 7 is Oklahoma City +5 over 6 games. Like, it's a pretty.
Is that true?
They were up. It was +24 coming into tonight. They won by 19. So if my math is right, it's +5. Like, it's a pretty even series. And again, my takeaway, just as it was after Game 1, is Indiana is just awesome. Something about the way they play, like the on-paper gap might be, they're, +4 net rating versus +13 net rating versus +8 net rating. Whatever that gap is, their style of play shrinks it down to a minimal amount. And they're just an awesome, awesome team.
I think part of the reason for that, I was thinking about it during this game, is who would I want to coach a game like this more than Rick Carlisle?
Carlisle, thank you.
Smoothly.
That's what I've been saying.
Right steps.
No one listens to me when I talk.
You can coordinate
It's Carlisle, motherfucker. He's a G.
stay on track, so your team can spend more time celebrating wins. Try it for free at asana.com.
And it's the combination of when your star is injured, we've seen him coach incredible runs with other teams, with guys in and out of the lineup. It's operating at a perceived talent deficit. It's operating against the best defense we've seen in modern NBA history. I just think that Rick Carlisle modulates better than any other coach out there, and he understands all of the trade-offs in the game better than almost anyone else. We saw it with Andrew Nembhard in this one, kind of scaling back his defensive pressure.
But huge on offense.
And he had to be. He had to be that big for them to be great. And they were able to pull that off because, I think Carlisle coaches everything on a sliding scale. Nothing is too precious to change. And at the same time, they're able to adjust things in very controlled ways without giving up who they are and giving up what the identity of the Pacers has been.
With all that said, be honest, when OKC went up 8-2,
10-2.
and Indy
I think it was 10-2, wasn't
and
it?
Indy called timeout, and it was like, oh man, this is gonna be sad. I really like this Indy team, and then all of a sudden, Nembhard had 8 straight. TJ McConnell came in and did he have a full McConnell, Zach?
What if McConnell were a free agent coming off this series, $30 million?
Oh my God.
You could see, or some people would be like, you know what?
Yep.
Forget Giannis. We're throwing the max at TJ McConnell. This is crazy what he's doing.
So NBA University, which is a very good Twitter account, he tweeted this, and I have no idea if it was a joke or not. He asked if Brunson was used like Jalen Brunson, and an offense revolved around him the same way the Knicks do. You do the Jalen Brunson offense. Would it be a good offense? And I was like, I don't know if you're joking or not, but I'm going down the road of thinking about this.
The TJ McConnell shot diet is unlike anything in the NBA. Nobody takes these shots where it's like you go under a screen because that's what you're supposed to do, and he just dribbles and meanders, and he takes 8-foot, full-on jump shots, 8 feet from the rim, 2 hands on the ball, 2 feet off the ground, with every burst of energy I can see, and he gets it.
The 45-degree fallaways, he has those. He has the 3-point shot that takes 2 seconds to unleash. What a breakout star. But, I mean, anyone who watches League Pass and watches basketball, we've all liked him.
Sure.
It's always a question of, it felt like he was another guy on this Pacers team who was available for 3 years, but not totally. And nobody went and got him. I remember arguing 2 years ago that the Spurs should have gotten him for the first year of Wemby. And then it was a combo of, Indy would never trade him. And then it's San Antonio could do better than, nobody was happy with the trade idea. Him and then Nembhard, Rob. There's no other player in the league like Nembhard at this point that I can think
Unbelievable. Yeah, his ability to raise his game in exactly these moments. Obviously, throughout the playoffs, we've seen him just be a totally different player every time he gets to the postseason. But they needed both of those guys to do a lot of ball handling, a lot of creation.
Right.
TJ McConnell has to not just take those crazy, improbable, high vaulting shots, but he had to stir shit up constantly on offense so that Halliburton could be a decoy, so that Halliburton could be, at some points, more of a catch and shoot player. And I think the only reason any of that works because you have these other 2 ball handling guards just sitting there, and you can scale up their minutes, you can scale up their responsibility. And I think Nemhard in particular, one thing he never gets enough credit for, he's such a great low-risk ball handler. Like, he just does not make a lot of stupid mistakes. He does not
he's
make
not
a lot of
Matherin.
crazy, audacious passes, although he did throw a beauty no-look in transition to Miles Turner in this game, which is about as flashy as Andrew Nemhard gets, and I salute it. Those guys are absolutely essential in a game like this, and they're going to be absolutely essential again in Game 7, even with Tyrese Halliburton having a couple of days and a couple of icy hot patches and however many, Advil he can take between now and then.
I got to do my thing right now. I got to do the thing that I do every Pacers game, every Pacers podcast. How many minutes are we in now? We haven't said his
almost
name
done.
yet. We haven't said his name yet. 9 minutes in. Pascal Siakam.
Oh,
Siakam.
Doing everything
Yeah.
for this team. 16, 13, 3 assists. Defended J-Dub a little bit, which we hadn't seen much of the series.
16-13 is light, though.
Got out in transition early in the game and kind of forced his way into the game and forced the Pacers into the league. This is what we do after every game. It's like Halliburton, McConnell, one game it's Matherin, and then we're 25 minutes. It's like, oh yeah, was he the best player on the Pacers again today? Maybe, arguably, I don't know. But we never lead with him, and he's just always there, humming in the background, doing stuff.
And especially in the first quarter, there was a couple moments in that first quarter that looked a little rocky for them, and he was like, I got this, guys. It's funny you mentioned Matherin. I'm not positive he played in the first half.
He did. He came in, I think.
Did he come in for like a split second? Because in the fourth quarter, when he came back in, I checked the stats, and he had played 6 minutes.
I thought you
This
meant
was the-
spiritually you weren't sure if he had played in the first
No,
half,
no, no. He
which-
literally played, I don't know, less than 10 minutes. But this was a guy who was the star of the game in Game 3. But this is like a classic example, Rob, of how fucking weird this Pacers team is. This Pacers team has 15 playoff wins.
Choose to lean into it. Every Mazda is engineered to give you effortless control.
You probably know Vistaprint for business cards, but did you know we print everything you need to brand your business? We print banners and signs that help you stand out, and must-have merch like tote bags, t-shirts, and hoodies. Right now, new customers can get 20% off with code NEW20, because if you need it, we print it at Vistaprint.com.
This will be the 20th Game 7 that we've ever had, and only 4 road teams have ever won a Game 7. And they now have a chance to be the 5th.
Yeah, if there was going to be a 5th, I would think it would probably look a lot like these Indiana Pacers. And they would do similarly improbable shit, and they would do things like, for example, dominate a game in which they shoot 41% from the field. And they just kind of hummed along, and they wrecked this thing on defense. They have every single thing that they need somehow. And I think one of the joys for me in watching this team grow and evolve and become who they are is like seeing the situational awareness of guys like Ben Matherin, like Aaron Nesmith, like Miles Turner, just like tick up and up and up and up. And it's not that they don't make mistakes, but like Aaron Nesmith and Miles Turner are not huge passers. They're not pass-first players. They certainly were not profiled that way for previous teams, whether in Indiana or otherwise. And yet, you put them in this system for long enough, and they just become a part of that DNA, and they just start making really smart decisions. And the Pacers are a team that like does not make sense in so many different ways, including the fact that their offense, it's so many players running into the same spaces on the floor in a way that should not work for anybody else. And yet it's Pascal Siakam making a dump-off pass to Nesmith at just the right time that it becomes an and one. Like, I don't know how else to explain them other than you have to see it to believe it.
Well, and then you're getting, a pretty abominable shooting series from Turner, Zach. I don't know.
Yeah, really, dude.
I don't know. He was 1 for 9 today. In the 2 Indiana games 3 and 4, I think he was 5 for 20. So that means he was 6 for 29 in the 3 home games. That makes no sense at all. I felt like all his shots were open for the most part. OKC was happy with them taking them. And yet, I thought he had some really big defensive moments in this game and was weirdly impactful, even though he couldn't shoot.
We blocked Chet on the 3, and I just thought Indiana's scramble rotations when they needed to get out in rotation were just on the money. They did not miss rotations. They were on time. They closed out like to the level of the feet when they needed to. They closed out short when they needed to. They ran guys off the line when they needed to. Just a dialed-in performance. And like Miles Turner and Obi Toppin are like on the seesaw. Like it's like even Steven. One plays bad, the other goes like 5 of 7 from 3 or whatever. Obi Toppin, second leading scorer in the game today. Obi Toppin, first leading scorer in the game. MVP Shea Gilgeous-Alexander led all scorers with 21 points. Did not feel like it. I mean, he got a couple little bursts of momentum when they got him the ball at the nail. 8 turnovers for SGA.
Jesus.
If you watched them back, a couple of them were passes that you could assign like 60% of the turnover to him and 40% of the turnover to the guy on the other end of the pass. But I just didn't like his game for the most part today. I don't feel like he played a controlled, like, championship level game. I thought J-Dub outplayed him in the first half and looked like the steadier of the two, frankly.
Yeah, I thought,
2 assists too.
yeah, I thought J-Dub was okay. Shea, as you said, like, it just didn't feel like that kind of Shea game that you would want in the moment like this. And then there just wasn't any connective tissue. Like all the stuff that rounds out the Thunder offense, whether it's like a great Chet game or a good bench game or a good three-point shooting game or any of that transition offense, none of it was there. But yeah, credit to Miles Turner, who I thought like just had Chet straight up in hell on some of these possessions, and then also the Pacers smalls, who Chet just could not exploit really at all in this game. He was missing jumpers.
God damn it.
He was missing dunks.
Hold on.
Could not make
I'm
any
listening.
run on it, really in any fashion at all. And he's got to find some way. It doesn't happen.
Hold on. Stupid alarm. That's my 8:30 Sunday morning. Don't forget to do laundry alarm right there. Yeah, I know. I'm going to do laundry. I know. Sorry. That some weekends that alarm bothers me. Other weekends I'm like, oh yeah, laundry, and I'm still thankful I have that alarm.
Scoring, but he has to be more of a force than this.
Yeah, I don't know if his contract run has been helped or hurt. Probably like slightly hurt, but on the other hand, like I think he's been a winning basketball player for a lot of stretches.
Unbelievable defensive player. Even the baskets they got on him on switches today were like he made those pretty tough looks. Like Nembhard had the one where he had to take the ball to the other side of the rim and loft it high off the glass. He was a great defensive player. Didn't have it on offense today.
Well, I don't know what relative of conspiracy build this is.
Oh boy.
And I got to come up with a name for it. There was 2 kind of non-basketball things going on with this 3-day rest between Game 5 and Game 6. One was just a lot of smoke being blown toward OKC, which sometimes over 72 hours, and then you're up, you got one more game, the best guy in the other team's hurt, you can get a little comfortable, right? I almost feel like they would have been better off if this game was just Wednesday, the 3-day break, and just being like, yeah, Ty's hurt, but like we just play defense, we'll be fine. There's that one thing, and then I remember somebody with the Celtics mentioned this to me last year. By the way, it was 15 minutes before I brought up the Celtics.
Siakam beat the Celtics.
Yeah,
into the
Siakam beat
finals.
the Celtics. They were up 3-0 in Dallas. Game 4, if they win, like, what are we doing if we win? Where's the party gonna be? And you start like planning stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not just the players, but it's the organization. And teams can deny it. They can say it's not a real thing, but I'm positive it's a thing because I was in Dallas watching it happen. Your brain just like I think with the Celtics last year, their plan was to go to Miami after the game to do all the trophy stuff and then jet to Miami, and they had a setup, and it's like your mind drifts like a tiny bit, and all of a sudden your focus is off. And I don't know. The OKC seemed to me like a team today that the focus was off from this team that was just a team of piranha. They were not piranha today.
No.
And I don't think, I mean, honestly, Indiana can win Game 7 in OKC if OKC plays defense like that again. They can.
Again, I thought the offense was, and the pain inflicted by the Pacers defense was almost as big, if not bigger, of a story to me than Oklahoma City's shortcomings on defense. But the question I would ask you to, as we dig into that very thing, is like if you look back at this game, if you watch this game, the how did in the actual the first 3 quarters, the non-garbage quarters, I think the Pacers had like 5 turnovers or 6 turnovers total. So as you watch that game,
They had 2 at halftime.
It's now 20 minutes into the rear view. How did they manage to protect the ball so well against this defense? Like, what were they doing or not doing to like? It's not like Oklahoma City's not trying to get turnovers, not swarming at the rim. Like, what did they do to do that?
I think so. It was almost, I think, 30 minutes of game time before the Thunder had their first steal. Like, even those minimal turnovers were all dead ball side out, like taking all the momentum out of the possession. I think a big part of it, and some of Indiana's like most successful stretches in this series have been obviously the kind of freewheeling way that they like to execute wears down all kinds of teams, mixes things up for all kinds of teams. The moments where they've kind of simplified and attacked in some straighter lines, and they are one of the most dedicated teams in terms of it, like feeding their bigs against smalls, for example. When Pascal or Turner get that seal inside, they are looking for those guys. But it applies in lots of different ways to attack. I think there's a way in which making Tyrese Halliburton the decoy and running some more traditional kind of basic action, weird as that sounds, against a defense as ferocious as Oklahoma City, kind of simplified things in a way that simplified the reads that they were making and led to fewer of those, like, I'm just caught and don't have anywhere to pass possessions that they were so guilty of in Game 5.
So I agree with everything Rob just said. And I was writing this down over and over again in my notes as the game was going along. OKC just wasn't pressuring them the same way. They weren't meeting them up at half court like they were, especially in the second half of Game 4, and then I thought the first half of Game 5, where they were basically making them start the offense 35 feet from the basket. And it's just, Indiana was starting the offense wherever they wanted in this game. It never, ever, the pressure was never an issue in this game.
I wonder how much of that was they got called for a lot of early fouls. And I wonder how much of that was like they just started kind of pulling back a little bit, whether it was to avoid foul trouble or whatever, you had to.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it just kind of facilitated the flow of the game for the Pacers.
Well, Zach, we said that after Game 4, right? When we were talking about once Dort and Caruso were getting away with the physicality, the game flipped once they realized that it was basically a football game. It was not a football game today.
So, Caruso, by the way, an improbable minus 33 while he was on the floor.
Whoa.
Minus 40. Like the Thunder just don't ever have that happen to them. To answer my own question, I thought they were like very smartly selective on throwing entry passes. Like, Kaysen Wallace is fronting Pascal Siakam. You know what? We're just not like, let's pull it back out. They threw a few, but I thought that like they were like much more cautious in just saying, it's like a 50-50 chance they're gonna steal this. Let's just reset the offense and do something different.
Yep. That's a really good point, because we talked about this a couple games ago when SGA or Wallace was on somebody in the paint, like a bigger guy, and they would rope Indiana into throwing the entry pass every time they would tip it or jump around. And today we didn't see those passes. So that might have been part of it. I still feel like, I promise you, Dagnall, who's a pretty quiet guy. I don't know if either of you have a feel for him. But he'll go nuts when he watches the defense tomorrow. So this is just not who we are, guys. We're gonna win the title. We're gonna take it. Why are you making a face, Rob?
I really think it was the offense more. Like this was the worst Thunder offensive game by the that's not me hyperbolizing.
Right.
That
Bad
is
three-point shooting. Everything.
By the numbers, their worst offensive game of the entire season. That's what the data says in terms of their efficiency in this game. And now some of that is coming from the other side of the ball. They're obviously bleeding into one another. And like you're not getting the 3 points if you're not forcing turnovers in exactly the way we've been talking about. But
yeah,
they have to be better in the half court too. Like they have to find ways ultimately to score against this Pacers defense. And you got to give Andrew Nembhard a ton of credit for that. You have to give the rotations that Zach was talking about pinpoint, really precise execution. Like that's what it takes to win finals games like this. And I thought they were just more on that level than the Thunder were.
You know what the answer might be? It might have been their offense and their defense, because they were down by 30 after.
When you get down by 30, it's your offense.
It's both,
defense, the other team playing also. That's how you get a 30-point blowout in the NBA Finals.
But they're getting what, 20 extra points a game off steals and all that. I do feel like that would get them going. And,
totally.
I feel like Dort and Caruso to me are the engines of this team, because they always know for the most part in the vicinity of what they're going to get from SGA. And then Jalen Williams has just gotten better as the playoffs went along. His minus 40 today, notwithstanding, not to mention 3 days of Scottie Pippen comparisons, including on this podcast after Game 5. Scotty's like, hey guys, settle down. Let's have him win one first. But as we head to Game 7, I'm trying to figure out what OKC would have learned from this game from how do we fix the offensive side standpoint, Zach? Because SGA had a couple where he drove left and he kind of got swallowed up, which I haven't seen many times this year. Where he didn't get the push-off stuff, he didn't get his at the rim stuff. It was weird.
Oh, so that's going to be a little mini battle. Is that the Pacers have toggled on and off throughout the series. We are going to double Shea when he gets to that spot on the left side of the floor. Today they toggled it on, and Oklahoma City, with the exception of like one decent Aaron Wiggins kick-out three, which he missed, did not look ready for it. They threw like Shea threw passes late, like that got stolen. They just did not look prepared for it. And knowing Rick Carlisle, he might toggle it to like half off to start Game 7, knowing that they're going to be looking for it. But just like more broadly, Bill, you and I have talked about this throughout the season. It does make me a little nervous that we're in Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and it still doesn't feel like Mark Daigneault, and through no fault of his own, through fault of injuries and personnel choices, doesn't quite have a feel for like who should play with whom and for how long. So we start the series with Wallace for Hartenstein. We go back to Hartenstein and Holmgren. We start the second half today again with Caruso for Hartenstein. We get little dollops of like no big men at all, but only when we're down by 20 and the game is hopeless. The Wallace plus the Wallace version of the starting lineup, which is plus like a lot for the playoffs. I don't know if it even saw the floor at all today. It makes me a little uneasy that the Pacers are like it's a little Mathurin here, Shepherd here, but for the most part, the Pacers know exactly who they're going to play and when. And
Does
we've been
seem
talking
like,
about it all
yeah.
year, and it hasn't mattered because they're just so goddamn good, and their defense is so goddamn good. I'm fast. Like, who's going to start for them in Game 7? Who's going to start the second half for them in Game 7? Who's going to, like, Isaiah Joe got unearthed again today, but only because they were down by 30. Just makes me a little uneasy, that's all.
Yeah, they did a little zone with an Isaiah Joe lineup. What was that in the third quarter? It's like, I just feel like OKC should never have to play zone. It's one of the better defensive teams we've seen, but it felt like they were, I don't know, whiff desperate. It's a good point, though. We didn't understand why they went away from the two bigs. We lost Rob.
We're live. We can do it. We can carry it without Rob. We
Rob
can do it.
has a
Rob's
calf
back.
strain.
Rob's back.
Oh, no, Rob's back.
That was Rob's impression of Oklahoma City's zone defense tonight. It popped up for one possession, gone after that.
Rob got hit by James Johnson.
I heard one negative thing about Case and Wallace. I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I cannot stand this.
So, I'm with you that lineup, that Pitbull lineup they would play with Case and Wallace, like the numbers were actually pretty good for them. But we also don't understand why they didn't start the two bigs when that had worked all year. They went back to that, but now they suddenly went away from that lineup that was plus a lot. So I don't know. I wonder if you had to guess, would they start two bigs in this Game 7, Rob, or would they go with the smaller lineup?
I think they start two
with
bigs. It makes it easier for Chet.
I'm tempted to say if the Caruso stint had gone better in the second half today, they would have gone to it. But the fact that it came out with no real impact on the game at all, I think might give Mark Daigneault some pause. Ultimately, that is, I think, functionally their best lineup. Like we've seen when Alex Caruso is having a maximized effect on these games. That's the Thunder really at their best. That's their best.
So you're talking
style.
Caruso, Dort,
I think
Will, SJ, and one big?
I think they might do it. One
well,
big.
I think I call that their A lineup, although the numbers are not spectacular.
Right.
Yeah. All right, we're taking a break for the podcast. We're going to keep going on YouTube. So I'm just going to say this, and I didn't bet on I have OKC series bets, so I stayed away from the game today for the most part. I thought OKC had solved Indiana, and I thought they were going to win tonight pretty convincingly, and I'm really surprised how that game turned out. And I guess I shouldn't be. The legacy of this Indiana team is don't ever be surprised, don't ever count us out, don't ever assume it's over. And yet I just felt like the Halliburton thing, it felt like he was going to try to play, limp around, it wasn't going to go well. And more importantly, I just felt like OKC had unlocked something from the second half of Game 4 on. And then they lost it. And the only thing I can think of, Zach, is the rhythm of this finals with the fact that we're playing this over the course of 17 days with all these breaks. Maybe it's really hard to get a rhythm in this new 2-2-1-1-1-1 that we have with all of these breaks. I don't know. Like, what is the explanation?
Well, I'd like to look back. Rob makes a great point about the early fouls. I was aware of it, but I didn't maybe zero in on it as carefully as I thought because, you know, there were two ways the Thunder could come out in this game. Way number one was what happened when they were just a little bit skittish and just sort of out of rhythm on offense. Way number two was just like, let's just pedal to the metal, fly on defense, take some risks, just take the force to them to a point that might almost be dangerous for us on some possessions if a gamble goes wrong or whatever, we fly it, we hit somebody and there's a foul. I thought they would just, let's just come out and overwhelm them with speed and force, and they did not do that. They just, I mean, I don't know why, but again, credit to the Pacers. They played awesome and they took this game, and I was with you. I thought with the Halliburton situation, I didn't think Indiana was going to win the game.
What about you, Rob?
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, it's his job to keep the power on. That's why he chooses Grainger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call, click, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I thought the same. I think, frankly, the difference in what we saw from Halliburton was meaningful. Not just in terms of how they managed his minutes, but how he managed those minutes. Like, there was the possession where he gets Chet on a pump fake on a three, does a jump pass to Neesmith in the corner, and in Game 5, that's like end of story for Tyrese Halliburton. He was not moving well enough. He would have stopped right there. In this game, it turns into a give and go for a layup. And there were so many possessions like that for him where it's like he's continuing to play through whatever consecutive action Indiana is running. And now all of a sudden he isn't a decoy. He's not just a standstill shooter. He's someone who's actually changing the flow of play. And if he's able to do that, that's a meaningful thing. But now that the Thunder are prepared for that, how do they come into a potential Game 7? I think there's so many weird little psychological elements of this. Like all the skittishness we're talking about for the Thunder, how skittish are they going to be when their season is on the line too? Like how is that going to change the way that they play? Are they going to have that force?
I expect Indiana just plays its game. Like I just expect Indiana to come out and play like Indiana in Game 7 and just like the stage is the stage. They just play and they just keep playing. It's why they win these crunch time games. I don't expect them to look any different or Oklahoma City's going to have to win the game at home.
Halliburton had a really nice quick trigger three in the second quarter. That was a shot he wasn't taking a lot in these finals, where he just had a pick. He had a split second open and a shoot one and he just shot it. And I remember thinking, like, it's a pretty good sign. Like, if he can at least do that, a couple threes, he got into the paint. Like the Indiana people always talk about the paint touches with him. Watch the paint touches. Can he get in the paint? So he did that. So OKC big picture. This will be the second Game 7 out of 4 series. They are now 68-14 in the regular season, 15-7 in the playoffs, 83-21. So Rob, I know this is sad for you. They're now out of the 20 losses or less club. One of my favorite clubs that I created.
I'm heartbroken. Do you have a different arbitrary line you would like to create for them?
No, I think this is the right line. This includes the 96 Bulls, 87-13. 17 Warriors, 83-16. 97 Bulls, 84-17. 86 Celtics and 87 Lakers, both 82 and 18. The 2015 Warriors, 83-20, and the 2013 Heat. Oh no, they're not in there actually. They're out. Sorry. That's the whole list. And then it goes into the under 80 win teams like the 83 Sixers, 71 Bucks, etc. But they are now off that list, much like the Celtics last year got bounced with that game 4 loss.
Okay, I do have it. Hold on.
So historically, I think we were all struggling to wrap our heads around OKC wins in 6. What was this team? Was this a great season? Was it something more? Was it the beginning of something? But now, you know, I getting taken to 7 by Denver and by Indiana, where their best guys basically on one leg in the deciding. I don't know. Not great for their legacy, Zach.
Look, I did the same basketball reference, deep dives. I got it all written out on paper right here, all this list of teams, the great teams of all time, just to have it ready. And you know what? I don't care. It's in the garbage now. The only thing I care about, the only record, 20 losses, 80 wins, whatever, the only record I care about for the next 72 hours is 3-3. All that stuff is gone now. You got to win one game or your season is officially a disappointment. That's where we are, and you lose the championship at home. That's it.
Right.
Well, there's a little more at stake for OKC, Rob.
Sure. I mean,
blowing the 3-2 lead, blowing the 68-14 season, and losing at home, becoming the 5th team ever to lose at home in a game 7. That it's almost like there's more pressure on them, even though they're the home team.
I think you could read it both ways, and I think all of that is true. I also think if you were to bet which of these teams is more likely to be back in the NBA Finals in the near future, I think the Thunder are probably the safer bet.
Yeah.
That's no disrespect to the Pacers, but just like the reality of what the Thunder have built and the way it is constructed to last, it's incredible. They're going to be good for a long time. We have every expectation of that. I just think in terms of what is actually at stake, all this legacy talk, how we're going to contextualize them, it's really cool if you can wrap up the finals in 5 or 6 games. Winning a Game 7 in the NBA Finals is pretty fucking cool. And that can cement you in a different kind of immortality than basically anything else can. And so when you're talking about consummate winners and we're talking about what stars do we compare Shea to if the Thunder were to go on to win, or Tyrese Halliburton, or Pascal Siakam, whoever goes on to win, like, there just is no bigger feather in a cap than this.
All that matters is that you win in the end. Like, all these discussions, it's like you either win or you don't, and all that matters is you win. It doesn't matter how you do it. It doesn't matter what the margin is, because it's hard to get one. I mean, it's hard. It's like, by any measure, this team is incredibly well positioned to get multiple titles. I just think people are writing that, even with this team as well set up as they are, too casually. Like, it's hard to win a lot of NBA championships. Like, people are like, well, they could win 3, 4, 5. Like, whoa, like, it's hard to win that many NBA championships. You got to get one. Think about what the 2021 title means to the Bucks. Like, everything's kind of been disarray since then. First round losses, trade rumors, all that. They got one, and that validates everything that came before, and it really lessens the pain of everything that comes after, no matter what it is. You got to get one before we start having these historical. Boston, you know,
thanks for bringing them up.
The best shot at breaking the no repeat streak was going to be, I think, a goal of theirs to really cement their, to your point about historical context and not knowing how to place the 60 whatever win Boston team from last year that had this margin, but they didn't feel like the 86 Celtics or whatever. One way to elevate yourself and to stamp that first championship is to repeat, and they talked about how much they wanted to do that. They didn't get out of the second round of the playoffs, and their best player got injured. Like, it's really, really hard. You just got to win. Everything has to stop until you win one, because one is still really hard to get.
Well, one thing about Game 7s, at least recent history, and we're going back, if you go post-ABA merger, we've had 1978, 84, 88, 94, 05, 2010, 13, and 16. They're usually pretty close games. They're usually really tense.
Yeah.
They're ugly.
Oh, yeah.
They're not, like, exceptionally well played.
And that lends itself to
look up and
OKC.
you're like, oh my God, it's the fourth quarter.
That lends
It's
itself
like
to
2 minutes
Oklahoma
into
City.
the second quarter. There's a weightiness to it. I was lucky enough to go to the 2010 one and the 2013 one.
Were you lucky to be at that one? That's a lucky. I guess.
Well,
you were
I was lucky from loving basketball.
Yeah.
I was absolutely miserable afterwards as the confetti dropped and Laker fans are going nuts. That was miserable. But yeah, there's a weight that you can feel in those that I can't really describe.
Yeah.
Everybody who's in their seats, everybody who's on the benches, everybody who's on the court, they understand, like, this is like life-altering stuff now. That if you win this is the rest of your life. If you lose it, you'll be thinking about it the rest of your life. They usually come down to 1 or 2 plays. They usually come down to one random dude on one of the teams just getting hot or making some shot. Like in 2010, our test just hit that 3, and that kind of decided the game. Like, nobody in the arena wanted to take him. He took it. In 2013, did you go to that one, Zach? The Game 7?
No, I wasn't there.
Which was an awesome game. Everybody remembers the Ray Allen shot, but the next game was really great. And Duncan had a little bunny from like 5 feet to tie the game with like 50 seconds left that he's made his entire life, and it didn't go in, and he couldn't believe it, and they had to foul, and he like sunk to the. I'll never forget seeing him.
He smacked the floor, I think.
Sunk to the ground, punched the ground, like he just couldn't believe it didn't go in. But a lot of times these games come down to that. So I feel like this will be a good game. I don't think this will be. Usually in the earlier rounds, it's so and so wins by 30. I don't see that happen in this game. What do you think, Rob?
I'm in line with that. And to your point about the random role player or the random guy, like this is a Lou Dort, Aaron Neesmith, Alex Caruso, Andrew Nemhard kind
Wiggins.
of moment. Wiggins, yeah,
This
like,
is a Wiggins 6 out of 7 from
absolutely. And I think by extension, like in games that are that tense, with that kind of physicality, that get that ugly, that's also like a Pascal Siakam kind of moment. Like, who is the most adaptable piece on the floor? Who is the guy who can do a little bit of everything?
He's been in the finals before.
Been in the finals before. Who's the guy you trust with 3 seconds left on the shot clock to hit a crazy turnaround that he has no business hitting, just by the nature and the context of the possession? That's Pascal Siakam to me. Like, those are the possessions that he manages to turn out through sheer versatility that almost no one else in the series can. Like, J-Dub has some of that. Obviously, Shea's like an incredible shot maker. Like, they're guys who can hit great shots. But I will be incredibly shocked if Pascal Siakam does not have exactly that kind of Swiss Army knife effect on Game 7. Like, that's just who he is the impact he's had on these games.
I'm going to throw out Mathurin again, too, who did nothing today and really hasn't done anything since that Game 3.
I love Mathurin.
But my guess is Carlisle, who's been in situations like this, he'll just have like multiple grills on the oven going, and he'll be like, I'm gonna throw Mathurin in the paint.
Yep.
For 2 minutes.
Put Mathurin down there for a little bit. Yep. Matherin's gonna do some shit, bro.
What does
Watch.
Ben Shepherd have
Just
going?
watch.
Anything? And
Why am I rooting for the
guys around until
Pacers
he
again?
sees somebody that he likes. Whereas OKC, I think Wiggins would be the, especially at home. And then the defense of Dort and Caruso, I would say, would be the other two. But, this could also be a situation where, like, Shea is just awesome. Jalen Williams just awesome. I love Game 7s. It's crazy to me. Can you name the 4 teams that have won one?
On the road?
Yeah.
Cavs, right?
Yeah, Cavs is the most
2016 Cavs. The Festus Ezeli Classic.
Oh, come on.
6 straight points, trapped 25 feet from the basket against one of the greatest players of all time.
Your 1969 Boston Celtics is one.
The 74 Celtics in Milwaukee. Coming off Kareem's skyhook in Game 6, where it seems like they blew the series. And then the 4th one,
I'm really trying to get it.
not a lot of buzz for this series. Might have even been tape delayed. The 1978 Bullets Sonics
What?
Classic. Bullets went on the road. Dennis Johnson 0 for 14.
Wow.
Pre-Twitter. So, I don't think he took a huge beating. Seattle comes back the next year, wins the title. And that's it. Those are the 4. We've had some close ones. Like 2013 Spurs came damn close. 2010 Celtics, that was down to the last minute. That 05 Spurs Pistons game was a rock fight, but was still pretty close.
Nobody
with 2
liked
minutes
that
left.
series. Wait,
It
we
was
should
bad.
we should do an off-season project of like rewatching 2005 Pistons Spurs. Like everyone hated it. It went 7. It was super intense. There's a huge Ori shot in there somewhere. I
They're
think.
Game 5. No, the wrong teams are in the series because, Indiana was the best. Ironically, Artest was in the arena tonight because the Pacers had everyone back, including Artest. And I guess there's no line anymore for who gets invited back because facts are facts. Like, he started a huge riot in a game, got suspended for the season, and cost them the title. And they're like, Ron, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Here's Pacers jersey. I thought the 05
Welcome back, Ron.
Pacers
Here's
would
your
be,
jersey.
I thought they were probably the best team that year. And then Miami was really good, too. And Wade got hurt.
Yep.
And we just kind of ended up with this Pistons Spurs. Duncan was hurt. Like, it was a weird one. It was just one of those years.
Zach, your idea is both a great editorial idea and also Spotify insurance does not cover the mental.
Rewatchables 2005 finals is not going to happen.
No, it was a rock fight.
It's
The
a lot
horror
of pain.
game was really good, though. No, but I think that was one of those years where we were like, thank God for the Suns. At least we get to watch one team run a fast break and do some stuff. The 94 Rockets-Knicks game was another one that was a rock fight. 88 Lakers-Pistons was really fun. 84 Lakers-Celtics was, pretty famous game.
88 Lakers-Pistons Game 7 in LA. Is that the controversial Lambeer foul on Kareem at the end of the game? Is that game?
By controversial, do you mean?
Okay, I was just easy. Yeah, I was just teeing you up. Okay.
Like an absolute abomination. A
Pistons
slight touch foul on a Kareem Skyhook
Let me
to
tell you,
decide the title.
Let me tell you, because I've done it. If you bring that up to Joe Dumars, it's like you just be prepared for like 12 minutes of
Well,
commentary.
There's 2 terrible calls because there's that, and then they have the ball with 5 seconds left. They inbound it after 2 free throws. the fans storm the court as the final play is going on, where they have a chance to get a 3 off, and Magic decks Isaiah, and they're like, let's get out of here, and they just kind of end the game. So it's unprecedented. It's unbelievable to watch. Anyway, so 16 Cleveland was the last one. That was the last one in almost 50 years, and that had LeBron, one of the 2 best players of all time. That had Curry, who was hurt. That had Andrew Bogut was out. It was an absolute rock fight, and it had Kyrie make one of the great final shots in the last minute. And the Warriors still almost won that game.
And one of the rock fight for everybody but Draymond Green.
I was about to say.
Draymond had like 34. Yeah, forgot about that. So, yeah, could Indiana be the 5th team ever? I guess what we've learned in the playoffs this year is do not count them out. I'm done counting them out. What do you think the line is, Rob?
I think
you're not a huge gambling guy.
I think the Thunder are favored for sure. I mean, one thing we have not said: the Thunder at home is a very different enterprise, and that is a home court advantage I do genuinely believe in. That it actually does make a tangible difference on the flow of the game. I think they are probably favored by 4.5 points. That would be my guess.
It's -8.5.
I was going to go higher than 4.5.
See, no one respects the Pacers, even Vegas.
Respects the Pacers, even Vegas.
That's probably the lowest they've been favored at home. All right, so let's do morning TV segment, Zach.
Why?
Who has the most at stake in Game 7?
Who has the most at stake? Bro, they both do. It's the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I got you.
Most at stake in Game 7.
Yeah.
It's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's capping an MVP season with a championship, and I think he's probably still the favorite to win Finals MVP. And yeah, he'll have other chances, right? But nothing is guaranteed in this life. Nothing is guaranteed in the NBA. No one on the Pacers, other than like Rick Carlisle, maybe has this sort of like what would like they're all so young in their careers. I guess you could say Halliburton immediately elevates himself into or sets himself up to be elevated into different kinds of conversations. It's got to be Shai, right? Was there any other answer to this?
I think Shai makes sense. It's Shai. I mean, he's in a position, if they do win, as far as guys who have won a title and an MVP before they turn 27, that's like a very, very select group of players. That's Bill Walton, since the merger, Bill Walton, Tim Duncan, Steph, the underachieving Giannis Antetokounmpo, and potentially Shai. Like that is a rare class of player that he could thrust himself in with an achievement like that.
Fuck, I hate this fucking stupid sword.
Anyone want to name Paul George or the Clippers? Clippers front office?
Paul George rooting for Indiana, right?
Paul George's legacy is all over this series.
So I have one more name for a what's at stake. Sam Presti.
Sure. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. That
the quote-unquote best GM of the last 20 years. Up 3-2. He's been knocking at the door really since 2012 in a bunch of different ways, and this seemed like the year was going to happen. And I do not think he's sleeping tonight, would be my guess.
But if they lose, it's more that what does he have to gain, like clinching his place in history. Like it's like if they lose Game 7, you're like, man, he really messed up this team.
No, yeah, it wouldn't be that, but it would be more like, wow, who's done a better job in basketball over a longer stretch without actually having it pay off with the title? Although we learned from LeBron last week, rings don't matter anymore. Ring culture.
Is that what he said?
What was that? What did he say? Ring culture stupid?
I don't think that's what happened.
So SGA right now.
I'm about to die in the mines right there. I gotta get out of there.
If he wins the title, people who average at least 30 a game and won the title, and it's not a long list, and it includes Michael Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon, Kareem, Shaq, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, Giannis, Kobe, and Jokic. Pretty good list. Yeah. So yeah, I would say he is.
30 a game in the playoffs, right?
30 a game in the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay, because I was like Hakeem 30 points a game. I have that up.
Yeah.
I need enough money for one of these better swords.
There's a slight Jalen Williams could do a big game James Worthy in the 7th game.
That's true.
And have that kind of, You know,
Why is that just slight? He just had 40 points.
well, it's a game 7. It's I'm saying like James Worthy had an iconic game 7, right? He won the did he win finals MVP? I can't remember. But that's always been the James Worthy game. Although I remember it the way Zach did as the I can't believe they called that foul on Lambert game, and why doesn't anyone care that people are jumping on the court? So we'll see what happens. Zach, did you care about the Lakers selling for a valuation of $10 billion, not actually $10 billion?
I cared about the Lakers selling. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of tentacles to that and how it could go going forward, and the gradual exiting of the Buss family from total control of the team. I think that's very interesting. I don't want to talk about it yet. Can we talk about the finals for 2 more minutes?
Okay, what else do you have? Give me
Well, I
more
just wanted
finals topics.
they just updated the stats.
Okay.
On
Yeah.
NBA.com. And I just want to read the offensive ratings for the series. Indiana 109.5, Oklahoma City 110.5. That is about the equivalent of the Utah offense against the New Orleans offense in the regular season. I just want to tip my cap to both defenses because this has been a defensive series, and both of them have stepped up to the plate, including Indiana. Like, those are pretty stark. Like, these offenses have kind of been ground into nubs in this series. Like, that's pretty impressive stuff. That's all I wanted. I just saw the numbers. I wanted to say that before we talked about the Lakers.
Rob?
Who do you think I don't want to say underestimate in terms of the Pacers defense, but like maybe weren't categorizing correctly, because you look at the Thunder defense, obviously in the regular season, the numbers,
Sure.
they were, their success was what it was. It drove a 68-win juggernaut season, that defense. And you could look up and down, J-Dub, second team all defense, Lou Dort, first team all defense, or at least Worthy. And, that's not to say nothing about guys like Caruso and Hartenstein who might have made it if they had been healthier. You never really hear any of that with the Pacers. You never really hear it about Andrew Nembhard or Aaron Nesmith or Miles Turner or Pascal Siakam, and I'm wondering, like, what is it that we are missing, if it's in terms of individual talent, or is it just the kind of collective play and the way those guys are able to work off each other? Like, what is it that it's been able to elevate their defense in the way that it has?
I guess my thought on that would be they try so freaking hard consistently, which I think is like, it was JJ had that quote during the season when they asked him what he learned coaching a team. And he's like, the number one thing I've learned is that you have to try really hard, and when you don't, it gets really hard. Like, he had one of those quotes like that. It was like, I've learned that over everything else, how important effort is. It sounds stupid, but effort matters the most. In Indiana, for whatever reason, those guys play really, really hard all the time. So, you look at the guys individually. Nemhard's he doesn't have a ton of size, right? But he's able to stay with SGA. Like TJ McConnell, you would never think of him as like a lockdown defender. Toppin certainly has never been accused of being an awesome defensive player. You're going down the line, and it doesn't really make sense. I do think Nesmith feels like he's finally moving the way he did before he hurt his ankle in that Knicks series, because he had a couple of those threes when and Zach and I know this because we've watched the highlights on Nesmith Island together. Those threes he hit when he's running full speed, stops in the corner and just puts so much torque on his lower body, but then could still get off these threes. And I didn't feel like he was doing that for about 2 weeks there with his ankle, and he seems healthy to me now.
There's a statue of that on Nesmith Island. A contested like three
like
leaning three.
Yeah. Okay.
Was there power on Nesmith Island, or were these highlights like shadows on the cave wall? Like, how were you?
No, we
watching?
had a generator.
Okay.
There's a drive-in theater right in the middle of the island now. You can drive your car up, sit, and have a couple of drinks, and just watch highlights of there in Nesmith.
Is there another island we need to start after the success at Nesmith Island? Is there anybody you had your eye on, Zach?
How long do you want this podcast to be? I mean,
I don't know. Is there a number one draft pick for you?
I don't know. I wasn't prepared for that question. I didn't think hard about it. I want Pacers defense. 2, 3, 4 of their starting lineup just rock solid across the board. Maybe not all defense level player among them, although maybe, but just like rock solid. Halliburton has just amped up his effort to a new level through the entire playoffs. Like, he's always going to be the liability, the weak link, but he has just the way he rotates around the floor and contest shots. He's a different guy than he was last season. And I would love to go and look at schematically exactly what Indiana is doing, because if you look at, like, people have stopped kind of talking about because the Thunder have been winning games, how low their passes per game numbers are in the series. They've stayed super low, even as the Thunder appear to have taken control of the series. And over again, we see these games where they don't move the ball, they don't get assists, they don't generate threes, and it's like,
What the fuck? There was an
what is-
earthquake during the night?
What is their team and their coaching staff doing, and what are they not doing to continue to coax the Thunder into this like trap of mud where they just get nothing easy? And I don't know the answer to that. I do know that this is probably the reason why, after all of the talk before the series was, well, Indiana, they'll spring a zone here and there. They've played no zone at all, because I think they're just like, all a zone is going to do is give them easy passes all over the floor and space all over the floor. And as long as they're not doing that against Armando Bay, like, we're just not going to it. But it's much more complicated than that. But they have gummed up Oklahoma City in the same way every game, to the point that if Oklahoma City doesn't get the 20 points in transition off of turnovers, like, this is the kind of result you're going to get. And I would love to go deeper into I would love to know more about what they're doing, basically.
Well, I think some of it is what you mentioned earlier, Zach, about the fact that Rick Carlisle can, for example, toggle how much they're doubling Shea. Game to game, moment to moment, quarter to quarter, stretch to stretch, whatever it may end up being. They're just one of those defenses that is not any one thing. And I say that even to mean, like, who is their go-to stopper? One series is Aaron Nesmith, because Nembhard doesn't really have as much of a shot guarding Jalen Brunson. In this series, even despite what you may think of, like, who Shea is physically and the defenders who profile well against him, Nembhard's been great. And in some series, it's Siakam. And in some series, like, you're just really relying on the help and the rotation of all those guys. And so I think there is an element of you're never quite sure what to expect from them. You're never quite sure coming into a series between games, do we have it nailed down the way that they are going to guard this exact action? I don't think anyone does. And I think that's a huge part of what makes a bunch of really smart, physical, intuitive defenders be wildly successful in a run like this.
Yeah, Zach's toggle thing, it's actually a football, it's like a cornerback blitz, or like a safety blitz, like where you kind of know a blitz is coming. Maybe it's not coming. Oh no, it's going to come a lot. Nope, it's not coming anymore. And that seems like what they're trying to do to SGA. And they're sending those late blitzes at them. It's pretty cool to watch. Zach, my broker, I'll call you tomorrow, but there's some opportunity on Cam Whitmore Island if he's doing the Phoenix trade. I don't know if you're interested.
Cam Whitmore Island.
Maybe a cabin.
I mean, he could average 20 points a game at a snap.
Yeah.
All right,
He might not
Rob,
win
let
all
us
that.
know if you want.
I'm
Put a
in.
little.
He was, I want to say, the first or second overall pick in our group chat expansion draft exercise this year. A lot of Cam Whitmore fans over on group chat. We believe.
Did you
Like
want to
Cam
talk about the
Whitmore.
Lakers? I rudely swayed the discussion away from the Lakers. It seemed like you wanted to talk about the Lakers.
Well, it was the most interesting thing that's happened since the last time I've talked to you, and I haven't talked to Rob this whole finals. Just something that had been rumored for a while, and especially after Mark Walter bought the 27% in 2021, and he had the hammer if they ever tried to sell, and it was like, well, if they ever sell, it's going to be to this guy. And then the Celtics sale happens, and it's like, And there had been some buzz, and then out of nowhere it happened. And I'm not positive it was out of nowhere because there had been some rumblings, but given the fact that he had the big stake already, and then the Buss family kept 18%, so he only had to buy another 48% to get that majority stake. So he slapped down the $4.8 billion. It seems like it's 10, but it's half that. It's still like a crazy amount of money for a team that doesn't own an arena. And I had the same reaction with
true.
the Celtics. Like, even though I knew the number was gonna be the number, I'm still like kind of staggered.
That's interesting.
have
They don't
a
even
lease
own their
with
arena.
Celtics
Whoa.
until
Yeah, true.
2031. I think the rest of the league, and you're already seeing stuff that being mentioned and written about. The Lakers notoriously really frugal for a team that was the signature franchise in the league. There were millions of stories.
They are but a
about
mom
this.
and pop franchise, Bill.
Yeah, they're being run like the local drugstore in Pasadena, and meanwhile they're the biggest drugstore in America. And people are wondering, well, what if that changes? What does that mean? I still feel like they were spending a lot of money, Rob. It's not like they were cheaping out on luxury tax, but it will be interesting to see if what this group was able to do with the Dodgers professionalizes the Lakers in the same way, what that's going to mean. I think it's pretty scary.
Yeah, I think they're spending a lot of money, and then there's caution to the wind level money. There is, we're just going to try to blow this thing over the top, and that can get you, as the Phoenix Suns can attest, into some really deep water sometimes. Take you to some really dark places as a franchise. I think there's the Lakers element of this story, and then there's the larger, like, there is a whole class of NBA owners and governors who are now selling and migrating out of that business. I think some of that is just those valuation numbers going up and up and up to a point where you just can't say no anymore realistically to something like that. But it's just something that a lot of people are getting out of the NBA owning business, that this is the time that they have selected to say Lakers, Celtics, Mavericks, Hornets. Who else has sold recently? The Wolves is going to be kind of a protracted process.
Wow. The Suns, of course.
Suns, of
so
course.
I've heard this argument, and I think if you go case by case, each one actually makes sense individually and doesn't seem like part of a larger trend. Like the Celtics one, Wick's dad wanted to sell, and he owned the biggest chunk of the team, and he's hitting his 90s, and he wanted to get his estate in order, and that was it. They won the title, he wanted out. The Mavericks thing was super weird for a bunch of reasons. They had a bunch of organizational stuff going on. Mark Cuban might want to run for president.
Welcome to a moment of calmness from One a Day. That's right, a calming moment from a vitamin brand. Wait, don't zone out yet. One a Day multivitamins help provide nutritional support for your well-being as part of a healthy lifestyle. Whether you're navigating a busy day or seeking quiet reflection, One a Day vitamins are here for you. Choose clarity, choose wellness, choose One a Day multivitamins. Science that matters for nutritional support. Grab your One a Day vitamins at your favorite retailer today.
I don't know if that was, and I want to get ahead of this whole media rights thing, this is the perfect time. I actually think he probably would have been better off holding on for a year or two more. Timberwolves thing, the guy regretted it the moment he agreed to the deal. He was trying to get out of it for 3 years.
Yeah.
The Suns, they made Sarver sell. So this is the first one where
I guess Portland's in that group too, although that's been another kind of long.
that was like that.
Process.
Yeah, that was like a family. The guy died and left it to the family. I think when you have a lot of siblings and a family and siblings getting older and they start thinking about the estate tax stuff, I think it does change. Like they look at it and like, hey, we could cash in now. We split all the money and there's ways to do it. But
I'll be right
Zach,
back.
You think
Gotta go to the bathroom.
going forward with the Dodgers owning the Lakers basically and Luka Doncic in there, this is a pretty safe bet to be a dominant franchise now, I would say, for the next 10 years, because they've proven they can do this with the Dodgers.
Well, I mean, people are gonna laugh at the idea that do the Lakers need more? I mean, they're the Lakers. There's a reason Laker exceptionalism, stars just fall into their lap all the time. Like they already had this baked-in advantage, and if the NBA is not baseball, you can't spend on payroll infinitely.
Right.
There's a cap and a hardish cap, and it's not baseball.
But you can spend on all the other stuff, which is like something Ballmer's doing.
So
right
that's
now.
the point. That's the point. Is all of the stuff that the Lakers have not spent on commensurate with their place in the market, whether it's analytics, scouting, video, all the fancy stuff. Like it's kind of cute to make fun of that. Like, oh, is that really going to help the Lakers? Like the Lakers need help. Is it really going to help on the fringes of the roster? Because they'll miss on a lot of those moves on the fringes of the roster. But the point is, like, over time, if you set yourself up to just make better decisions on roster spots 5 to 15 over 10, 20, 30 years, you will, in the aggregate, make better decisions on roster spots 5 to 15. And that is where all the spending, I think, will matter. And there's just, I think it's super interesting. I just think the Buss family Game of Thrones thing is really interesting. I think the Buss, like Jerry Buss, obviously he's been passed away for a while, but that class of owner is leaving. And you talked about people getting out of the NBA business. These prices are like, there's only so many people that can even get into the NBA business right now. Even to buy like 5% of these teams is an enormous amount of money. And it just is going to open the door for like what kind of funds are going to get more involved. Are we moving more in that direction? Because we're just running. You can only go to Larry Ellison so many times and be like, hey, you want $8 billion? You want a team? Like there's just not many of those people.
And it seems. Oh, go ahead, Rob.
I was gonna say it feels telling. Like the Lakers are in their own class, as we've decided or discussed in terms of what their appeal is to players and what their place is in the league. Like they're a unique case. But we're coming off a week in which Desmond Bain showed up at the practice facility in Orlando and was like, this isn't what it's like in Memphis. And coming off a week in which there was a clip of DeJounte Murray going around talking about how he couldn't even get time on the training table in New Orleans.
The Pelicans are like
Yeah,
a whole
they're
separate thing.
Totally
zero out
separate
of 10,
thing.
the
But
Pelicans.
all of which is to say, there is lots of room on the margins to do things that are meaningful to your bottom line as an organization, are meaningful to players, are meaningful to your success as a franchise, that are right there. Like spending on training facilities, spending on a practice facility, spending on assistant coaches, spending on analytics, like all of that stuff is within any owner's theoretical grasp if they would care to do it. And everyone pinches pennies somewhere and tightens the belt buckle somewhere else, but like that stuff is right there for the taking for any owner who wants to do it.
Yeah, and I feel comfortable saying this. I think they succeeded the last 20 years despite the ownership situation, the Lakers.
I also think
I really do. I feel like,
well, was it all the litigation and like,
well, if LeBron doesn't decide in 2008, 2017 range, I'm going to go to the Lakers, I want to move all my operations there, they're just a mess like any other team. They would have had all these weird lottery picks. They would have had to try to figure out how, they picked second 3 years in a row. Then they traded all the rest of their picks for Anthony Davis. Like, I feel like they succeeded despite the ownership situation. Now, granted, they just made one of the best trades in the history of professional sports, so you can't criticize it too much. But I'm just saying, like, what the Dodgers have done and what that ownership group has done for that team, if they can figure out how to do something similar in basketball and the same kind of advantages, Zach, I just feel like this is going to be different.
A couple of things on what you just said. I think because LeBron went there, and then LeBron's agents basically got Anthony Davis to join him there.
Yes.
The whole, 5 or 6 straight years when they were out of the playoffs and a total disaster, and the Nick Young, D'Angelo Russell thing happened, and all of that.
The Kobe extension.
That was a long time. That was like a Charlotte Hornets, Sacramento Kings stretch of what the hell is going on here? This is 27, 35 win seasons. And there was no guarantee it would end. And then LeBron came, and then AD came. Into my earlier.
My bad, dude. Turned into a real bathroom break. You know what I mean? Started off as I need to use the bathroom, and I was like, oh, I need to use the bathroom. So, apologies. All right. What was I doing? Right. I was breaking open that nug.
And that's a big deal to get one. They got one.
And I was going to get
into
the sword.
This life raft to the post-LeBron era in Luka, but they're gonna have to. It's not the West is no joke. It's not like they're guaranteed a title in the next 5 years just because they got Luka. They're gonna have to work to get it.
The other big thing that happened this week, since the last time I saw you, Zach, and we haven't talked about this at all, Rob, is we thought a Kevin Durant trade would happen by now. By all accounts, the offers are not good.
I'm checking my phone just in case. When you see me looking down, I'm just looking for just
the word on the street is the offers have sucked. And they made the classic mistake of basically what happened with David Griffin last year in New Orleans, right? It's like, can't have this roster anymore. We've got to make some moves. And the rest of the league is like, oh, you got to make some moves, huh? Heard you had to make some moves. Yeah, here's my crappy offer. I don't know how this KD thing plays out anymore, Rob. I would assume it's going to be
who's trying to grab him? He's 40.
I would assume maybe it's going to be a shortened version of the trades Russell and I were talking about on Sunday, and maybe it's just Jabari Smith and Jalen Green, and Jalen Green gets rerouted somewhere, and maybe that's the entire trade. But at some point, the price becomes low enough that if you're Phoenix, you might have to go, look, KD, we tried to trade you. There were no good deals. We're keeping you.
I think that's easier said than done, though, with the Jalen Green aspect of that. Nesting dolling the Jalen Green trade saga within the Kevin Durant trade saga and trying to find the third team that's super high on Jalen Green.
It's very hard.
I think it's quite challenging. And I can understand Houston for Kevin Durant, I would love to see it. I think it makes a ton of basketball sense.
Yeah.
Granted, the very
it actually does, and I don't even like Houston.
That organization as far as who is gung ho about that move and who is more patient about it. I get all of it. I think they have proven defensively and in terms of the core of that team that they are ready to take a step forward, that they're ready to consolidate some of that talent with exactly a player like Kevin Durant. And so I think there should be a lot of will on Houston's side to get it done. I understand why they might be slow playing that market and why Phoenix would be kicking the tires on everyone to the point that have we already rounded the corner to Detroit being in this conversation?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
In this conversation, if they
I've been waiting.
I've been banging this drum for 2 weeks,
Come on.
3 weeks.
They definitely should be.
Come on. Well, there have to be some prize in there other than the Tobias contract.
Of course.
Yeah. Just a matter of who you like. Are
some
you
picks,
Ron Holland,
but it's
Jaden Ivey?
I don't know. I still like
It feels
Jabari.
like a great
If I can get
ending.
Jabari, I'm excited.
It feels like a great ending for Kevin Durant's sort of strange, meandering career post OKC is like this random franchise that's been kind of in purgatory to bad for quite a long time in this market that doesn't draw free agents. What if Kevin Durant and Cade Cunningham and Asar Thompson and Jalen Duren made the finals one year for the Detroit Pistons?
Oh my God, that'd be great.
What if he saved the American auto industry? You know, like, I think there's lots of options on the board for us that could be very exciting.
The Chrysler Durantula coming to Chrysler.
I'll tell you this: if I'd want to be in the East, if I was anybody who's, I guess Durant's already won some rings, so maybe he's looking for basketball.
You
happiness,
guessed? He's
Nirvana.
already won some
Well,
rings?
no, I'm just saying he doesn't have to chase like some other guys.
A burner account is going to tweet
I
something
know.
just because you said
I know
that.
he's won some rings. Sorry, Kevin Durant. Please don't at me. No, but I think he's probably looking for basketball happiness more than I have one more chance. I need my third ring because so-and-so only has two. I don't think he thinks
The most interesting part of the Houston-Phoenix negotiations to me, which I assume just comes down to Phoenix identifying 2 or 3 things they'd like thrown in and Houston trying to hold on to 2 of those 3 things or whatever it is the 2027 Suns draft pick. Because in trading for Kevin Durant, I'm probably making your team worse in the short term, for the next couple seasons at least, and giving you a puzzle that you've got to build your way out of before that 2027 draft pick comes due. And I'd like to keep it. Like, I'd like to keep that pick, and, I assume Phoenix is absolutely dead set on getting it back. And I just think that's a really delicious little piece of, like...
Motherfucker.
I'd love to be on those phone calls.
Well, where's
we're
Clint
at the
then?
point
Is he at the
now where
bar?
It seemed like there were 3 teams.
Because I have
Indiana this weekend. It seemed like it was a 3-team race. He said he picked his teams. All right, here we go. Now it feels like 8 teams might be involved. Like, I'm prepared for anybody. Like,
Where the fuck is Clint? Is he at the bar? He must be at the bar.
That's crazy.
I
Like,
think they should be.
I don't think it's
the Toronto Lurkers.
The Toronto Lurkers. Who knows?
Loiterers. The Toronto Loiterers.
Zach, I wish you cared about the draft because the Ace Bailey saga is the other way.
I care. I've been on the phone for all of the last 2
The
days.
Ace Bailey saga. This has not really happened since like Amari Stoudemire 20 years ago, where
Choose to follow your instincts. Every Mazda is designed to feel like it was made just for you.
I wake up.
somebody's just refusing to work out for teams.
Yeah. What level of no-show are we talking about? Like, are the restaurant reservations made, and he's just like not going on the trip, and they have to cancel everything? Like, how far in the process
just sitting
is he
by
getting?
himself at a table. Sir, it's been 2 hours. I don't think your party's showing up.
I think Daryl loves this. This is like, you're challenging me to draft you now. I'm gonna do this. You think I'm afraid? You think you're scaring me? Listen. It seems like he has pretty shaky representation around him. I'll say that. It seems to be the word in the street. They're doing things a little unconventionally, maybe in the wrong way. Conspiracy Bill's wondering if he's just trying to push himself to Brooklyn at number 8. And trying to... You don't think he's getting there?
I don't think he's getting I don't think no... you know what? Look, there's a lot of...
Because Stoudemire fell to 9.
Conspiracy Bill should be just having a blast with the Ace Bailey thing, because there's like 7 different Ace Bailey conspiracies floating around the league and the top 10 teams in the draft. And my net conclusion to putting all the conspiracy theories together and meshing them into a ball is I don't think you would get to 8, but maybe I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I would guess.
Someone in that Pelicans, Wizards...
Yeah, it's like the Wizards have to take him. They just have to. But, on the other hand, that's the kind of selection that has ruined the Wizards / Bullets for the last 40-plus years. But it's interesting. It's a really fun, old-school, completely hit or completely miss prospect where you can see all these different scenarios for it. But, yeah, that's been a talk of the league as well. And it'll also be interesting to see if I think people are expecting maybe Philly will move backwards a spot or 2 spots.
There's Clint.
To try to pick up some extra assets, dump a contract. That Utah, who knows with this stuff on social media, what's true and not true, but that whole moving back 2 spots with Utah, giving them Paul George, Utah moves up 2 spots. I just don't know why Utah would want to even move up 2 spots.
So there's the thing. If Ace Bailey has gone from number 3 pick to where is he going to get picked? And so now the whole 3 to 8 is just shuffle it up. You know, some guys are a little higher. I think Trey Johnson's probably climbed a little higher or whatever. But, like,
Yeah.
if I'm Utah, why
Oh,
am
look
if
at Zach knowing the draft this year. Jesus.
Yeah, look at that. If it's,
Who are you?
If it's unpredictable, and I don't have a grip on it as a GM, why am I paying a premium to move up if I don't know if the guy I'm paying a premium for might? Maybe I do it on the clock. You know, it could just be an on the clock kind of thing, and that it has to happen that way.
You're doing it if you love Edgecombe. That's the thing. If you feel like we have to leapfrog somebody to get Edgecombe, that's when you would do it. But I still think 3 years of Paul George. Also, putting Paul George in Utah. What if he doesn't want to go?
Do you
Where am I
think he
heading
would?
that way? Well,
Kitty,
you know
how
that-
many times can you relocate the Podcast P studios? It's like 2 U-Hauls. Like,
we'll see what happens. All right, fellas. Prediction for Game 7. Do you have one yet? OKC by a lot or by a little or something else? What do you got, Rob?
OKC by a little.
I'm going to go OKC rock fight. Close game for 3+ quarters, and then maybe they pull away and win by the 7-9 range. Zach.
OKC's up 2 with 10 seconds to go. Halliburton takes a jump shot, and the screen goes to black like the ending of The Sopranos. For like the rest of our lives. Just out of like some cataclysmic event occurs, and the finals are over.
Well, I'll tell you this. If Indiana wins Game 7, it will be the first team mentioned when we talk about, like, the Hickory High type, craziest sports movie type teams that actually won the
If
NBA
they win,
title.
I'm
They'll be
telling you
mentioned
right now,
first.
if they win Game 7, I'm drinking on the podcast after the game. I will do the podcast with a drink because it'll just be such an incredible start to finish run of crazy finishes, and you counted us out, and shots that go up to the ceiling and go in. I'm drinking on the podcast if they win.
Indiana wins, and then they go, ratings were the lowest it's ever been for a Game 7. And we have to do that whole thing. It's like, yeah, this was a fucking awesome basketball series.
Yes.
Fuck everybody.
Fuck everybody. Exactly.
They would be.
Yeah, it's an awesome
like
basketball
the
series.
team of my
Fuck
life,
everybody.
To be honest with you, in terms of the run that they've been on, like there's nothing like it. There is no comparison.
It only
point.
happens in baseball. We see it happen in baseball where an offense can just get hot for, 3 weeks, and one pitcher is pitching well, and they're like, oh my God, we just won the World Series. Like the 2013 Red Sox were a little bit like that. It never happens in basketball.
Are you looking for a one-stop grocery shopping experience with bargains you won't believe? Then stop by your neighborhood grocery outlet. You'll find amazing deals on the name brands you love, with savings up to 40 to 70% versus traditional grocery stores. And don't forget, we also have all the essentials like dairy, meat, and produce. So shop us first, shop us often. Great deals add up to monthly savings, only at your local grocery outlet.
Grocery outlet, bargain market.
I did
Yeah.
make a real.
Oh, we're
prediction. I
over.
guess
It's
you guys
over.
didn't.
Oh,
I should
man.
make one. I'll cop out and go OKC wins a very close game. That seems to be the most likely of many different scenarios. But I'm officially at the stage where like almost nothing would surprise me about this series. Nothing, no outcome.
Do you like my revised final schedule of going Thursday, Saturday, 3 days off, Game 3 Tuesday, Game 4 Thursday,
You had 3 days off in there somewhere.
just between Game 2 and Game 3 for the travel?
So Sunday, Monday, and then part of Tuesday off, and then you're playing Tuesday night.
No,
I like that podcast. I like the way that guy runs his podcast. I really do. That guy's a good time, dude. I like listening to Bill Simmons talk basketball. I like the guys he has on, the way they talk basketball. I'm a big fan of that guy's content. To think that he was on like the ESPN broadcast for a little while, and they were like, "Well, we don't really know what to do with him." Like, are you kidding me? He's way better than everybody you have. Anyways. And now the quiet. I didn't know that about a handful of the things they were talking about Game 6, though. I mean, I only watched the highlights. I only got to see the highlights. Normally I can watch the NBA Finals because my bunny ears pick up the channel, but for whatever reasons, my television was not watching or was not picking up the channel. So Alrighty. Now, let's go see about getting this thing cracked open. And then let's get down to the mines. We got to get down to the mines, get to level 40. That's important. That's a goal for the day. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do when the basketball stops. Oh, that's the worst time of the year. Because, like, I've lost track of MMA pretty significantly. I couldn't even tell you who the champions are in most of the weight classes. Because just since all the Russians came in and started dominating everything. It's hard to keep track of those Dagestani folks. Do I already have one of those? I think I already have one of those. Let me check, though. I know I already have one on my other farm, but not on this farm. Let me look. Let me see. Oh, yeah, I see it right there. Okay, won't bother with that. Oh, perhaps Penny will like it. It's for me? Thanks. She doesn't know what to do with it? Are you kidding me? Dude, I just gave you basically like precious gems, bitch. All she gives me is a, thanks. That's bullshit, dude. That's bullshit. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. I'm just seeing if you're all right there, Linus. You and me are pals, you know. Just trying to be your friend, but that's cool. Whatever. This would be the perfect one for a bomb, because a bomb would clear all these rocks out, dude. Femur hits way harder. See how much harder that hits than that stupid little rusty sword? Yeah, bitch. Get out my face. Oh, I'm almost out of energy. I can't eat any of this crap, right? Can I eat this? Yes, I can. Eat sweet pea. Give me that. Didn't give me any energy. What the hell, dude? Nothing. Wow. Well, I got to go back up at 17. That sucks. I have no energy. Oh my god, that's so stupid. Damn it. That's so dumb. Ah. That bums me out. I spent so much of my energy watering all my crops. I mean, I have to. I got to get that money together. We need to buy our first chicken coop. I mean, this is McNugget Farm, and I don't have a single chicken yet. I mean, I'm going to need thousands of dollars to buy chickens, too. Like, oh, my God. I got to get rich already here. Come on. Plus, we're doing the JoJo route on the community center, so I'm going to need hundreds of thousands of dollars to soup that all the way up. Oh my god, it's about to be 4 o'clock. Damn it. No. Let me get in first. Thank you. Yes. Haha. Thought you were about to clock out. Were you? Nope. You gotta hook me up first. Whoa. Alrighty, well, that was kind of a waste of time. Alright. Damn it. All right, well, it's 4 in the afternoon and I have 0 energy, which is bullshit. But at least everything at my farm is watered, so it's not like, you know. Okay. You start feeling exhausted. Yeah, I know, dude. I'm tired. I'm a very, very tired guy. What can I do to hook that up a little bit? Nothing in there. I'm gonna eventually put my greenhouse right here. Once I upgrade that and I move it, it's gonna go right there. There we go. That gave me a little health. Let me do one more of those. But what I should start doing at some point is troughing off my area here for what will be the chicken area. Wake up, Rocket's got KD. Is that right? That officially just happened? Oh my goodness. That doesn't make you any better. Who'd you give up? That's, I mean, I could understand you being excited about that for sure. That would, I could see that. Oh my gosh. Dude, that's crazy. Dylan Brooks, 10th pick and 5 second round picks. Damn, that's a haul. Dylan Brooks, too, to Phoenix. So Phoenix has Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Devin Booker. Good, because Devin Booker's not that guy. So he's going to need a Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks makes Devin Booker better. That's interesting. I mean, good for KD. You fleeced another team. Good for you. Dude, he's 40. I mean, I get that he's a bucket, but KD's 40, bro. He's 40, bro. Yeah, I would think so. He played the 3. Durant would play the 4 on your team. The good news is you didn't get rid of Jabari Smith, because Jabari Smith can learn behind Durant and become the kind of player we expected him to be when he was drafted. Like, it's only going to make Jabari better, which is huge for you guys. That's exciting. If I'm you, that's what's exciting. That's where I'm excited for you. Yeah, I mean, it's box office for sure. You're going to be a conversation of the summer, no question. I'm not worried about a 40-year-old KD, personally. But that's just me. But if you're Houston, you got to do it. Makes sense. It makes sense. But, like, they're going to be the talk of the summer. It's very interesting. I mean, you needed that exact guy, that, like, give me the ball, I'll get us a bucket guy. You've needed that guy for years. You got that guy, albeit at the fucking very end of his career, where he's not as potent as he used to be, but still. No, listen, if I'm a Rockets fan, I'm excited. But I'm not a Rockets fan, so I don't think you guys did shit. KD doesn't move the needle for me. Call me a hater if you want, and I'll admit I am a KD hater. Not for any really good reason, just because he left OKC after getting bitched by the Warriors and went to the Warriors. I'm still stuck on that. Like, that's such a bitch move, dude. So I've kind of never really liked Durant since then. I've always admitted he's wildly talented. I've never tried to take any shots at his game, but, like, you know, gotta go get a shooting guard. That's the last piece. Okay. How many jerseys is that for Durant? That's like 6 jerseys, right? You need a shooting guard, yeah. Okay, Seattle, OKC. I do count those as separate teams. Seattle, OKC, then to Golden State, then to Brooklyn, then to Phoenix, then to Rockets. Is that 5? 6? How many jerseys is that? Did I miss a team? I might have missed a team in the middle there. That's crazy. That people are going to be way overestimating that trade. I'm not saying Houston shouldn't get off Jalen Green. If I'm a Houston guy, I'm like, thank God you got off Jalen Green. Good for you. Thank God for that. And to get off him for a Kevin Durant level talent, albeit he's not. He's 40, dude. He's not going to be Kevin Durant all year long. He's not going to put up 40 points a game all year and shit. Like, he's not going to be. He's not. Katie's not what you would call. It's hard because he is surprisingly still pretty good at basically 40 years old, but like he's 40. I just don't think. I don't know. You didn't give up anything crazy for it, though, so I can't even be like dumbass Rockets. What are they thinking? KD's 40. Like, no, for what you gave up for KD, that's a good pull. I can't even pretend like that's a bad pull. That's a great pull for you guys. But if everybody starts talking championship because they got KD, I think that's crazy. Even though you guys are pretty close to a championship anyways without KD. So maybe it's not that crazy, but like using Durant as the, well, we have Durant now, so of course championship. Like, it's like, no, dude, KD hasn't been the guy to go get championships for, I mean, you could argue he's never been the guy to go get championships. He's the guy that goes to other teams to get championships. You know what I mean? But even in his prime, he wasn't the guy that could go get you a ring. And at this point, he's 40. My friend just told me Katie can play the 3. No, he can't. No, he can't. Come on, he's 40. Like, just say you don't. Right. How do you say you don't watch basketball without saying you don't watch basketball? Talk about Kevin Durant playing the small forward in this league right now at 40 years old. That's how you tell. Jesus Christ. No, but for what you gave up, that's a great pull. So can we have Malik? No, you cannot. Thank God he didn't go to Detroit, though. There was conversation. We were starting to get talked about in this whole Durant thing. So I'm relieved. I'm not excited for you Rockets because I don't give a fuck about your Rockets. I have to admit they didn't give up too much for him, though. So, like, I'm saying. So yeah. Brooks is a DNA guy for you guys. So I could see that. I could see missing Brooks. I mean, it moves the needle. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't move the needle because Durant's that level of a player. Like, he's a superstar, right? So it's like grabbing that kind of guy, whenever you grab that kind of guy, is going to be like, oh, that's interesting. But he's 40. He's 40, dude. Like, I mean, call me a hater if you want. He's 40. I can live with being called a hater. If y'all need to call me a hater, but like, Kevin Durant makes the Rockets championship bound? No, he doesn't, in my opinion. That's my official take. This is basketball. Are you watching tonight? I am unfortunately without a place to watch. But I'm invested. I'm very much invested. I have a $5 gentleman's bet with a coworker. I am in for a penny, in for a pound. Go Thunder. I've been low-key half rooting for the Pacers all series. I'm not going to lie, because they've been so fun to root for. Sometimes I forget that the Thunder are my West Coast team, but now it's down to Game 7. It's go OKC. SGA, getting those refs ear, make sure they're calling all the whistles you need, and I'm crying tears of joy. Jalen Green is off my team. I'm crying tears of joy. Yeah, right now we're more MTG. Right now we're more talking about the Durant to Houston trade that I guess just happened. It's official. Kevin Durant plays for the Rockets. And Phoenix did okay. Like, listen, Phoenix was never, at this point, Phoenix wasn't going to get, 7 generational players for Durant or anything like he could have done 5 or 10 years ago. So, like, what they got is pretty good for Durant, given his current age. So. True. Is this better or worse? I don't even know. No, that's better. Yeah, if I'm a Rockets fan, I'm excited by that deal. It's a good deal. And it's not a long-term deal because KD's only got so much basketball left to play. But you bring in a seasoned veteran, a go-to guy, end of game score. You don't ask him to play 30 minutes a game. I think you measure his minutes a little bit. You make sure Durant's there at the end of the year and healthy at the end of the year and not exhausted because, again, he's 40. I think he's actually 39, 38, but, like, still, in basketball years, he's 100. So he's still playing good basketball, though, so, not trying to be a hater. Kevin Durant's still very viable, but, well, I think Rockets fans should measure their expectations. I would keep him closer to 20 minutes a game, personally. And he would play the 4, yeah. He would absolutely play the 4. 36, by the way. Yeah, but he started at 17. He's got 20 years of basketball in his legs. He's 40. Plus, he's had significant injuries. That guy was like in the NBA at 18 years old, 19 years old. So how old is he really, dude? And he's had a myriad of deep playoff runs, which add games to people's legs. Not everybody's LeBron. Not everybody's going to play 30 years, dude. Like, he's not young. He's only 36. Like, bro, only 36 in today's basketball? Like, what are we talking about? He's 40, bro. Fair enough, dude. You got to do what you got to do. I mean, I haven't even mentioned the fact that Udoka and him were probably swinging on each other by fucking January. Yeah. I mean, listen, I get it. He's your guy now. You got to, He can score 30 without attacking the bucket a single. Yeah, he can stand and shoot. Nobody's saying he can't stand and shoot. That's why I'm saying 20 minutes, stand and shoot, save him for the playoffs, and then you might have something. I'm not even trying to be a hater, bro. I mean, I am a hater. I don't like Durant. I'm on record. I don't like Durant. But for what you gave up in Houston, it's a great deal for your guys. It's like, I can't hate on the deal. The deal is fantastic for Houston, and it's about as much as you can expect for Phoenix, on the Phoenix side. So I don't think anybody got fleeced. Nobody got fleeced. It seems like a pretty fair deal all the way around. Like, I feel like both sides should be pretty satisfied with that deal. Honestly, I think it's a little bit more than they should have expected for Durant at this point. That's just, I mean, that might be me being a little bit of a hater. I'm a little bit of a hater. Little bit of a hater. You need a shooting guard so bad. Yeah. Well, you need a point guard and a shooting guard so bad, to be honest. Fred VanVleet's almost at the end of his, I'm not even saying he's old. I'm just, Fred VanVleet's about at the end of his usefulness, right? You were saying as much. You'd love to get somebody to replace him. So go get Michael Porter Jr. Hey, you leave Michael Porter Jr. alone. We're going to get him in Detroit. We're going to give up a juicy Tobias Harris contract, and we're going to trade him in like a pick for Michael Porter Jr. You fucking leave MPJ alone, dude. That's my guy, dude. Don't try and steal my ideas, bro. How dare you? Out here trying to poach my guys. I already called him, dude. That's fucking bullshit what you're doing. Out here stealing my ideas, pretending like they were your ideas, bro. That's bullshit. I mean, talk about improving playing with KD. Michael Porter Jr. could come up leaps and bounds, but you already have a Michael Porter Jr. You have Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith needs to just be attached at the hip to KD in the small time KD is going to be in Houston. He needs to just learn at the tree, you know? Like, just soak up literally everything he can from KD. If KD's willing. I don't know if he's ever really been that guy. Who knows? I don't know that much about him as an in-camp guy or a locker room guy. I don't know about him that much. But if he's even a little bit willing to share some information, Jabari Smith should be literally, by the franchise itself, assigned to Kevin Durant. He should be like, bitch, you carry his bags, you share the hotel with him, you fucking buy him his Slurpees or whatever did he, buy him his smoothies. Like, you are a Jabari, you are Kevin Durant's guy. You never leave his side. Learn literally everything you can from him. If I'm a Houston team, if I'm a Houston front office guy, that's what I'm saying. Now, if I'm a Jabari guy, if I'm looking at it the wrong way, I'm going, well, great, they just brought in Kevin Durant. Now I'm getting 0 minutes. What the fuck? Unless they play Jabari Smith at the 3. Is he too tall to play the 3? He's probably too tall to play the 3, to be honest, but that might be something, though. Shepard's a solid point. It's just his lack of defense means Udoka's never going to play him any meaningful minutes. Because Udoka's defense first. To a fault. Jabari's 6'10". Well, so is KD. So, like, a couple of twin 6'10s in a Sengun, you guys would be linked for days. Who would you rather have at the 3? A 6'10 Kevin Durant, who's 40. I'm going to keep calling him 40. Or a Jabari Smith at the 3 at 6'10", who's just got a dumb amount of size. It might be a step slow, but has a dumb amount of size. I mean, if he wants minutes. Mayor Lewis, I got your fish. It's for sure interesting, though. I mean, it's very, very, very interesting. No question. Where's Mayor Lewis? God damn it, Mayor Lewis. Don't you go fucking making this difficult on me, dude. He could be anywhere. I'll find him later. Right now, while it's open, we should go do the blacksmithing and the dropping this off at Gunther at the museum. Ah, there's Mayor Lewis. Hey, Dum-Dum, here. You're welcome. No problem, buddy. Here you go. Give me my money. Thank you so much. I'm still looking for your shorts, by the way. They're in Marnie's house. You dog. Okay. Ooh, that's for Gunther. That's for me. Ooh, that's for me. Quality, dude. Nice. Quality fertilizer. Let's go. Alrighty. Well, at least we know I have the scroll for Gunther. I might also have the green thing for Gunther as well. Bro, yeah, KD does not make the title contender, but the talking heads are going to have a lot to say about that, and I'm going to disagree with them. That's okay. I mean, we got a long off season. This kind of trade is great for basketball as a whole because people will be talking about it all summer. And that's good. Keeping basketball in the zeitgeist during the summer, big trades like this, that's what does that. So, you know, I love this. This is good. This is a good thing. It's just people are stupid. Dallas is if healthy is dangerous. OKC is dangerous. Denver's, as long as they have Joker, is dangerous. San Antonio, if Wemby figures it out, and some of the young talent they're going to put around him could potentially be dangerous. There's a lot of danger in the West. So KD to Houston doesn't just give them the Western Conference. There's too much going on in the West. Oh, dude, you're a tough out in the playoffs for sure. No question. You already were, but you didn't give away a ton, and you managed to bring in one of the best closers in professional basketball. Despite his age, one of the best closers in professional basketball. Like, for sure, you're in the conversation. But this whole, like, well, championship time, like, relax. Breathe a little bit. I know that's the kind of thing they have to do because that brings in ratings. That, you know, generates clicks. You know, it's a clickbait culture. But, god damn, relax. I would say relax. Already my position is relax. They're going to gift the Lakers a big for even more talk and be yep. Their Lakers are going to wild. Although they just sold their team, which is very interesting. The buses are out of the basketball business to a degree. I mean, they're still hanging around to like for the transition or whatever, but so that's going to be interesting. You don't put the Nuggets in there? With Joker, I always put the Nuggets in there. I think the Mavs are going to be very good. I mean, not even just the Cooper Flag of it, just like, you know, the Kyrie and the Anthony Davis if he's healthy and the Clay. I think they got a fucking good squad in Dallas. I actually do. I was on record when that trade happened that, like, people were blowing that way out of proportion. Luka for Anthony Davis and whatever else wasn't that crazy of a trade. AD when he's healthy, and I know that's always a question mark. It's like, yeah, it's like saying KD in his prime. Like, it's like, yeah, I get it, but like AD when he's healthy is a motherfucker, bro. Everybody's acting like Kyrie's not that dude as well. I don't even want to be on Team Kyrie. Kyrie's an idiot, but like undeniably, basketball-wise, is a fucking bucket, dude, and as clutch as you can get. Yeah, OKC's none of their pieces are going anywhere. They got a set roster. Like, I mean, they got a game tonight that's going to be a little bit of a, you know, better go get it. Hey, OKC, you better go get it, motherfucker, because, you know, down the road, Rockets are coming. Teams are going to get better, man. I mean, you know. What? Because if he takes the extension, Lakers have zero money. Yeah. Yeah, LeBron's just, he needs enough money to buy a franchise, so he's going to gut the Lakers. It's what he does to every team he ever plays for. The second he leaves, they fall the fuck apart because he literally sucks the blood out of every franchise he's ever played for. That's what he does. LeBron eats every resource and every potential future and then leaves empty carcasses as he walks away like, what? I didn't do anything. I'm like, fuck you, LeBron. And then, he went back to Cleveland. Yeah, when that carcass finally got himself back up on his feet via draft picks and, you know, smart, what do you call it? Smart roster management. They finally put themselves back together and started putting some young talent and some pieces in place, some pieces LeBron could play with. He's like, oh, sure, I'll go back to the Cavs. They have enough capital for me to move a bunch of shit around and get exactly what I want, and then again, leave them in the fucking lurch once I leave. I mean, at least with Miami and fucking some of the other teams he played for, it at least he just left them once. He went back to Cleveland and did it to him twice. It's like, Jesus, man. Pulled their future away to keep himself happy, then left, then came back to Cleveland, sold their future away to make himself happy, and then left again. Like, did it to him twice. Like, bro. That's not a proof of his loyalty. That's proof of his malice and his pure and unadulterated selfish hatred for anybody that isn't him. Fuck LeBron James. Okay, 7 o'clock at night. Yeah, I can't do anything. That's 7 o'clock at night. All right. Damn it. I don't need a beautiful sunny day tomorrow. True. The game tonight is like they win, they go 62-20. Next year, they lose, they go 74-8 and bring pain on everybody. Right. You better hope to God they win this year. Or else the West is in trouble next year, dude. Because they'll be playing with the most ungodly chip on their shoulder. Ooh, what's up, Demetrius? Fruit bats. Fruit bats. The mushrooms I can do off trees now. There's a new update. So we do fruit bats. Yeah. Well, I mean, they did all that to, you know, preserve their guys, and the guys still got injured. You can't really plan for an injury like that. I mean, that's just bad luck. And I never root for injuries. I wasn't rooting for any injuries for them. I don't like the Celtics. I'm not a Celtics guy. I don't like the way they play basketball. The 53, 63s a game. Shit is ridiculous. The fact that they actually won a championship doing that makes me kind of bummed out and kind of fucks basketball up for me a little bit, admittedly. I really don't like watching that kind of basketball. But at the same time, I didn't want anybody getting injured, bro. Like, I'm not happy that they got injured. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, well, this year they were the hurt star. I mean, that's basketball, though, bro. It's like, oh, they played against teams that weren't 100% every year. Like, bro, that's basketball. Durability and availability is a skill, you know? That's why some teams have the, like, you know, reputation for the best training staffs in the league, and other teams are like, yo, don't go play there. That's where players' knees and fucking joints go out. That's why nowadays when you build a new facility, you're like, or a new stadium or whatever, you're like, check out our rehab facilities, our fucking, you know, health facilities for our players. Like, the good teams take care of their guys because availability is a talent, dude. It's like, it's a literal skill. That being said, all those boxes being checked, you still can't count on somebody getting hurt, you know? It's like, dude, and I never root for that either. Even when I don't like a player, I don't root for them to get injured. Some people are on that level. Some people are like, ha ha, Jason Tatum broke his fucking ankle. Like, I was like, bro, I don't even like Jason Tatum, but I don't want anybody getting hurt, dude. I don't ever want anybody getting hurt, dude. I want them to get beat at their best. That makes me happy. That's what I'm like, you were the best version of yourself. You still got smoked. Get fucked. That's when it's fun for me, dude. That's where I get a kick. That's what I get a kick out of. I already have one of those, but maybe I don't have one of those yet. Let me look. I know. I am back again. Hello, what's up, Jesse? How's it going? Welcome back. Dude, do I have enough money for one of my JoJo's? I might have enough money for one of my JoJo's right now, actually. Wait, is the cheapest one 15 though? I think the cheapest one's 15. Yeah, mine carts is 15. Okay, I'm nowhere near. I thought one of them was $5 grand for some reason in my head. We're not there yet. We're getting there. Yeah, you got the Ginger Island. Nice. I'm still heading towards the level 40 of the mines, so we're steady working on that. Trying to stack some cash up. I need to get at least minecarts unlocked. That's just ease of travel around the map. That just makes life easier that way. 10,000 and I can get the starter chicken coop. That would be kind of cool. Saw, dude. Yeah, of course it is, buddy. Yeah, I got you, Linus. My homie. That's my only friend. That's the only person I really care about is Linus. The rest of them, yeah. Overrun my ass. Where's the other people at? Oh, there's more down there. Okay, hold on. Oh, God damn it. Yes. Shit! Oh shit. I flicked my mouse too aggressively. My bad. Alright. Almost made a huge mistake right there. Oh, Jesus. Those tiny cherry bombs are, what's the point? You know, I mean, I guess if you have a slingshot. I don't like the slingshot. I know people, the high level players will swear by the slingshot. I don't think it's, I don't know. I don't like it. Actually, I haven't tried the slingshot on mouse and keyboard though. Maybe it's easier. Maybe that's the way to play it. I don't believe in it. I think it's kind of silly. There we go. Where is the ladder? Let's go all the way over to the other area over here. Must be over here. Oh, God damn it. I don't think I need the white seaweed that bad. I was going to see if there was some I could throw away, but I don't really need the white seaweed that bad, I don't think. Or the algae, rather. Bing! I know I got a lot more daylight left, but, you know, sometimes it's just... Oh, hold on. Let's put this... I guess... I don't know why I'm holding on to those there. Cave carrots, yes. Put those over there. Trying to think of things that are valuable when I'm down in the mines. I guess those are just slimes. So it's like I don't have another place for those. Cave carrots, bombs. Those are all, yeah. Hey now, the upside area. Is it? When did this open up? Oh, the earthquake. Did the earthquake open this up? I'm almost tempted to take a bath right now, dude, and get my energy back up, but I actually don't need it because it's almost day's almost over, and yeah. Whoa. Oh wait, bug meat's over here. Here we go. Baked fish. Sweet. I don't have a kitchen yet, but when I get a kitchen, baked fish. The farm will be featured in the next week's up-and-coming column of the... thanks, man. Hey, appreciate that. This part. I mean, it's worth it for the money I'm making off of these peppers, but god damn. When I get my watering can souped up where I can go, you know. Believe it or not, I have a farm that's like, you know, $3 million in, you know, my main farm is like $3 million or more worth of, like, you know, experience and whatnot. Probably well more than that, actually. Well, you know, maybe. That's probably about right. But I'm like 3 seasons in, you know, 3 years in, and like, you know, I got all the bells and whistles. I still water crops. You wouldn't think I'd water any crops. I got the, you know, the iridium sprinklers. I got all the things, you know. But I still have a whole bunch of crops that I self-water. I don't know why. I get a kick out of watering stuff, dude. Not on that level I just had to right there. That's actually annoying to have to do that much watering, but I still do generally enjoy watering. It's very strange. I have a whole hops situation going on in my house. I turned my house into a brewery on my main. I have hops growing in flower pots, just perfect rows of them all throughout my house, dude. It's crazy. I should probably show you guys that at some point. I don't want anybody thinking this is my first farm. You know what I mean? I mean, I've had farms that were 5 or 6 years in. But as far as on PC, my best farm is my 3-year farm. I played thousands of hours on PlayStation before I ever played on PC. I 100% like it better on PC, though. This feels so much more like how you're supposed to play this game, you know? I mean, the mouse cursor thing gets a little weird sometimes, but... You got coffee in flower pots? Yeah. No, I like raw. I'm with you on the soil, but I like watering it. I get something out of that. It's like I have my house set up where I sleep in the top right corner, so when I get out of bed, I come down my stairs and it's like water, collect any beers I have, put them in the chest. You know, it's all like a rhythm, like a rotation I do as I leave my house, you know? And then I have a Meadowlands. It's a Meadowlands farm because I just wanted something interesting, something different. So like have all my animal shit set up like near the water. So like there are only 3 sides of fence required because they're all backed up to the water, so they can all have access to like the river. And it's beautiful, dude. I'll have to show you guys. I'll do like another day or 2 of this guy, and then I'll show you. There's still a whole low side of the farm too that I haven't really figured out what I'm gonna do with yet. Probably doing fish ponds and stuff, most likely, but I have like a little mini orchard that I haven't quite finished yet. It's kind of the inspiration for doing the orchard on this farm that I plan to do. I'm heavy in the jams. Ooh, energy. We are in bad shape on energy. What the hell? Oh, yeah, because of all the damn farming I have to do. Cave carrots, nice. Ah! I like to kill those guys before they armor up and then come flying at me. Not that they're that much of a problem. I mean, honestly, I can bop them now, but... Yeah, playing on this particular... Like, I decided ultimately that I would never play this unless I was... This farm, unless I was recording it, right? This is going to be my full record farm, this one. But it does feel like playing with weights on, because there's so much... it's so much easier. I mean, it's more stressful, too, because there's so much more to do on my main farm. But man, I got all the, you know, I got iridium tools, and like not all my tools are iridium, but like most of my tools are iridium, and like, you know, I got my galaxy sword, and like I'm operating on a much easier level. Like all my sprinklers work all perfectly, and my animals are all, you know, auto fed in their barns, and it's just the ease with which so much more stuff. Like it's such a bummer to have to hit these rocks so many times. Like I miss my iridium pickaxe. I miss my galaxy sword when it comes to fighting monsters. It's like, dude. It's like playing with a weight. It's like swinging my bat with a weight on it, you know, like they do in the batter's box before. For the, I don't know. I'm not a baseball guy, but like, you know, the baseball reference. You know, when they're in the batter's box and they put those weights on their bat. That's what this feels like to me. It's like, oh man, what am I running with? You know, weights on my ankles or something? Like it's like it feels like. It's kind of fun though. It's you know, it's less stressful for sure. This is way less stressful than my main farm. My main farm has so much going on that like in a day there's so many things I have to attend to. Ah, I shouldn't have moved. I have a lot more plates to spin, I guess would be the way to put it. Damn it! There's so many more wormy guys up there. Dude, I don't want to piss any more wormy guys off, dude. I'm not trying to get any more huge fights with the wormy guys, dude. I'm over it. Where? Oh, there it is right there. I see it. I actually see it. Oh, I should have grabbed the coal out of the... That's all right. We're just trying to get to 30 after all. Like, I don't know why I'm being all precious about it. Oh, there's a ladder over there to the left. We gotta run. We gotta go. Let me through here. Thank you. Yes. I actually really dislike these ones where you can't see anything. I gotta get my... Do I even have that recipe yet? I don't think I do. I need to get my light ring or whatever. I don't have that unlocked or anything, though. Where's the... There we go. And then the cave carrots and more cherry bombs. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, if the minecarts worked, I'd be like, boom, back to the bus stop. Boom, back to my house. I'm so spoiled by the minecarts, dude, on my other farm. Very spoiled. Hell, I got totems. I quick travel to the you know, to the skull caverns. I run skull cavern runs. My best is like 30 or 40. I don't really go. I've not been able to go that deep into the skull caverns, I'll be honest. I'm pretty shit at it. I might have to make stairs. Even with galaxy swords and like really good, you know, foods and stuff. Because, you know, I got a kitchen and everything, obviously. So I'm doing like the really good foods. Well, not the really good foods, but like, you know, pancakes and stuff. Stuff that's strong, you know. Um, 5 geos. Ooh. Okay, let me do... That goes in here, I guess. This one goes over here. This goes over here. This goes over here. I'm waiting until I can make a smoker. And then I'm going to smoke all these fish before I sell them. Rushed it like 2 days ago. Is that right? I've never been able to get like more than 30 or 40 deep in the skull cavern. I'm just very terrible at the skull caverns. For 2 seasons, that's right. While most crops die when the seasons change, corn lives on. You can grow it in both summer and fall. I'm not going to go plant some corn. Thanks, though. I don't need to do the fortune at the end of the day. That doesn't help me. Damn it. I need a rainy day so I can, you know, get over to the caves quickly. I have to spend half my day watering my damn crops, dude. I mean, it's worth it because I get paid when I do it, you know, but... Truth be told, I need to start troughing stuff off. Do I even have that recipe yet? I have the basic wood one, but do I have the hardwood fence pole yet? I don't have it. The reason I picked the forest farm because I want the hardwood fences. I want to have a surplus of hardwood so when I can do hardwood fences and not have to worry about my fences degrading or whatever as much, you know? Or at all. Honestly, since I've done hardwood fences, I've never had to fix them. So I'm of the opinion that they probably don't even need to be. But what I'll need to do is, from right here, from this corner, is where I'd run my fence. And that means I have to take part of this out. Part of this is not okay. So I should probably fix that at some point. Because I'm going to trough off from that corner right there. I'm troughing off all the way over to about wherever, like, to about the middle of these lakes, we're not. We're going to the right here, yeah. So like from here up, and then from here up to like middle of the lake over there, to right about here, and then up to the corner. And this whole area is going to be chicken coops down in here with the ponds and everything. We're just going to have 20 chicken coops in here, or like 8 or 9 chicken coops spread about in that area. So all this eventually goes away, but I'm not in a rush to do that. I kind of want to do that. I want to set that up a little bit more when it's like winter time, where like this all dies anyways, kind of like have it naturally die off. Then I can start working on it. But right now I'm like on the precipice of like building my first coop. I mean, I know I can move my coop whenever, so maybe I just set a coop down for now and then worry about getting it perfect later. But I kind of like setting my plate. I feel like the advantage I have, having played through the game a bunch before, is like I know what I'm, you know, I know what's annoying and not annoying, and I know. So I want to kind of set my plate a little bit before I start. I don't know. I wouldn't mind having a nice big gated area for chicken coops when I start building chicken coops, I guess is what I'm saying. I also need to start planting trees up by the train, because that is invaluable. You just set and forget it up there. Put the seeds up there, set it and forget it, and then like come back to it a week or two later and be like, oh shit, a forest to chop down for free wood. I'm like, bro, bing bang boom, dude. Whoop. I saw that on a YouTube video. I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Why am I not doing that? Obviously. It's a bunch of space up there. Just fill it full of, you know, fill it full of trees. How often do you ever go up by the train station, you know? I'm sure some people have, like, you know, crops up there or something crazy. But I'm not trying to run all the way up. I mean, it's not one of those spots where you can fast travel to with a minecart, so... Like, if you got to walk up there anyways, might as well put something up there that you don't have to touch very often. Perfect example of that would be, you know, seeds for trees. Just plant a forest up there, dude. And then, you know, 8 or 9 days time or whatever, however long it takes to grow a tree naturally. Like, you'll go up there by that train station and be like, oh, there's 50 trees to chop down. It's like, I got to do that. I'll probably do that today. I have the rest of the day right now, and I don't really feel like going to the mines for like a second day in a row. Let's see how many seeds I have. Oh, I haven't even fucking watered any of these, have I? Damn it. I picked them, but I didn't water them. Wait, is this... Gunther needs to... Oh my god, I was just over there and I didn't give that to Gunther. God damn it. Well, that's... Alright, we'll hold on to that for Gunther. I mean, multiple things need to happen when winter hits. I need to get this watering can upgraded at least once, if not twice. I need to... move my shit around, so get some fences up, start really game planning, troughing off the areas I'm going to work. I'm going to have the biggest and baddest chicken farm you've ever seen, dude. It's going to be crazy. Doesn't seem like a big idea right now, but wait till I execute it. It's going to be sick. I know there's no plant there, but I still need to water these spots because it bugs me if I don't. There we go. All right, let's see what we got for seeds. Or for tree seeds, rather. That's not a crazy amount. That's actually a very light amount. I've not been very disciplined on chopping trees down, I guess. I'm also going the wrong way to the... Damn it. Whatever. Whatever, I'll go up through the town. Whatever, dude. Might as well grab a few, you know, forageables while we're on our way up here. I mean, what the hell? Alrighty. One to 10, the name of my dino. Dino, sure. Yeah. I'd say 7 or 8. I'm personally a big fan of you naming it after a famous dinosaur, you know, from television or movies. But I don't know how many of those there are. Like maybe even like a deep cut. Like something from the ABC show Dinosaurs. Remember that show? From childhood? TGI Fridays? No? I don't know what one of the names of one of those people on that show is, but like, that would have like something like that would have got a 10. That's very clever with the pun of it all for sure. But I don't think I can go higher than an 8. 7.5. It's a pretty damn good name. Everything right now is money. So I'm not trying to save much of anything right now. Everything is money right now, dude. Let's go down around by the lake over there, down by Marnie's, and let's... Ooh. Woo! Warp to the farm. Nice. Those are very handy. Let's chop some trees. I feel like I have not been chopping enough trees. Wait, that cartoon movie, Land Before Time, when we were kids. What was when I was a kid? Maybe I'm way older than you, probably. What was the name of that dinosaur in that movie? Step on the crack, break your mom's back. Like that. What was the name of that dinosaur? I'm gonna have to Google it. Because when I switch over to my main farm, I have a dino in the straw right now, getting ready to be born, and I'm gonna have to name him something cool now. Now that I've given you a 7.5 for your Dino Sure name, which is admittedly very clever. I'm gonna have to come up with something wildly clever as well. I kind of want to name him after the dad on that dinosaur show on ABC hold on. There it is. This guy right here. What was his name? This guy. Yeah, this one. Not the mama or whatever. You don't remember the show? This show was like a fever dream when I was a kid. What was the name of the?
From Michael Jacobs Productions and Jim Henson Productions. There's a reason why dinosaurs didn't survive.
Why?
They got married and had children.
Not the mama.
Dinosaurs. It's the must-own 4-disc DVD box set.
I like it.
That proves good comedy is not extinct.
Hey, fat boy.
Ethel, if I could move my arm, I'd crack your head like a coconut.
This show was insane.
With never-before-seen bonus features, including a
It was like a fever dream. Like they should not have been showing this to children.
eggs hidden throughout the DVD.
I say this with all love and everything, but I don't give a damn about your day.
Bring home dinosaurs.
What was his name though?
First and second seasons now available on DVD.
Somebody pinch me.
What was the name of the father in that show, dude? Because that's what I would name my dad. I saw something with similar graphics, but I never saw this. Yeah, this was like, I don't know why my parents let me watch it. It was like,
exactly the same.
It was wild. But I'm trying to figure out what was his name. Is there a wiki for this?
Hey, it's baby's bedtime. Daddy's got to get on with the rest of his life.
What another story?
But if Daddy reads you another story, you'll just...
Hold on. Back up to the top. Writers. Cast. Earl? His name was Earl? Are you serious? The main character's name was Earl in that show? Okay. I'm naming my dinosaur. Okay, I'm naming my dinosaur Earl, and no one will ever understand. I'm like, what the fuck? Why'd you name your dinosaur Earl? You'd have to know. You'd have to know, dude. Or maybe I'll name him Earl Sinclair. That would make more sense. Well, people still wouldn't like, dude. You don't remember? Not the mama. You don't remember the dinosaur show from our childhood? People my age know that show. They're like, yeah, what the fuck was that show? That show was so weird. It was like Honeymooners, but with like people in giant dinosaur suits. It was very like, what are we doing? Just casual Earl. Yeah, exactly. Like people be like, wait, why did you name your dinosaur Earl? You were like, I'd be like, oh, what, you don't know? Like I had to look it up, but I'll be like, what, you don't know? Dinosaurs on ABC in the early 90s? You don't remember? I'll do that. I'll be able to high ground people. That'll be fun. Like what? You don't remember dinosaurs on ABC when we were growing up? Okay, where are we putting the totems? I mean, I usually put them in here, but I'm running out of space. I gotta do that woodcutter book. Woo. I don't do that enough, by the way. I'm new to PC. I've only had a proper computer for about 4 or 5 months now. I've been a PlayStation from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've been a PlayStation console recorder, streamer, YouTuber, whatever, for my whole entire YouTubing career. I've only just recently gotten a PC. It's probably been about 6 or 7 months, actually. 8 months, probably. It's probably been longer than that. I don't know. But I've only been on PC that long for a very short amount of time. Rancher. So being able to tab out like that and go find out some information when I'm struggling with a name or something is such a cool. That's like, oh, it's chef's kiss. It's so good. Like I've never been able to do that before. You can't really do that on PlayStation. You know what I mean? Oh my God, I almost got 10 grand together. You guys can't see that. It's up on my head here. I should probably lower my... Hold on. Oh my god, that's so much better, dude. Yeah, I almost got 10 grand. I need 10 grand to... Oh, hold on. Click that. There you go. I need 10 grand in order to get my first chicken coop. Right? And the beach for the Pelican Town luau. Make sure the event communal potluck. Ah, fuck! This is the worst one. Because I need like cheese or something. I don't have animals yet. Oh, this sucks. Yeah, that dinosaur show, dude. Not the mama. We'd watch that. Me and the family would watch that. And as I look back on that show, I'm like, yo, I don't think we should have been watching that. I'm not sure my parents even watched it. I think by then my mom was probably falling asleep on the couch, from exhaustion, working, taking care of 3 boys and everything, Like, just, she'd fall asleep as soon as she sat down to watch television. She'd fall right asleep. My dad would watch it with us, though. So on some level, I think he knew it was kind of like probably a little inappropriate for kids, but it was like, fuck it. Kids are having a good time. They're laughing. They're enjoying it. What the hell? Who cares, right? Because I grew up in a pretty sheltered house. Mom wouldn't let that sort of stuff fly. She didn't let, like, regular radio fly, Like, she was, like, super controlling. Jesus wouldn't like that type of bullshit, right? So, yeah, I think if she'd have been awake, she'd been like, why are we watching this weird head trip of a dinosaur show? One YouTuber was doing a review on it, but I cannot find it now for some reason. Okay. It was a dinosaur one? Was it a movie? Wait, was it a movie like that? Oh, or was it a show? Was it Land of the Lost? Land of the Lost had like weird, quirky, silly boy kind of funny graphics, and it was like a dinosaur-related show. Maybe that's what you're thinking of. I need to get down to the, what am I working on right now? Foraging is high. Mining isn't that good. I need to get back in the mine. Fishing needs to be much better. I really do need a mine, though. Ooh, what I need to do is get over to the, I need to turn in this, what do you call it? The, dwarf helmet thingy or whatever. I'm from Chechnya, so I have no idea what you're talking about. Fair enough. It was some reptilians, and it was creepy. Played like puppets. Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Here we go. Was it this one? Fraggle Rock?
Customer feedback is everywhere. Are you listening?
Yeah, I can't help but listen. It's very loud. Fraggle Rock. Like, tell me that's not some psycho shit, dude. What are we doing? Okay. It's not Fraggle Rock? Oh! Oh, you're talking Dark Crystals. You're talking, I know which one you're talking about.
Has a 97% customer satisfaction.
I think it's Dark Crystal.
Wow.
It's a Henson. It's a Henson. It's Jim Henson.
Customer service. Right.
It's a movie.
Return to a world of magic, mystery, and wonder.
Yeah. This is a pretty dude. It's Jim Henson again. It's creepy and weird. I know this movie though.
All right. Alone then.
Another great conjunction coming up. Better have you showered before that, Ghostly.
From directors Jim Henson and Frank Oz.
Yeah, I know this movie.
Us will be the new emperor.
So yeah, like why not take a name from a random character in that movie and make that your is what I'm saying. Like why not make that your dinosaur's name? You know? Maybe on the next one. I'm gonna name my dinosaur Earl. Just because that was the name of the guy on that Dinosaurs television show that I remember. Yeah, that Dark Crystals movie has a cult following. Like people fuck with that movie heavy. Like I always thought it was cool, I guess, but I wasn't like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing. It wasn't like my childhood or anything. We, generally speaking, in my neighborhood, my core group of pals and my brothers and everything, like there's 7 or 8 of us boys in the neighborhood on the block. We were much more into like sports and stuff. We didn't go into the sci-fi that much. I mean, my older brother Greg was like a Star Wars guy, I guess, but for the most part we were more into like sports and stuff. We didn't really get into that, like, we're classic Muppets more than we were like Dark Crystals type stuff. Anything that got into like sorcery or anything like that, my mom would kibosh that really quickly. She was not about that life. Oh, that's the devil. Like lots of that sort of stuff, Jesus wouldn't like this, type of business. So I wasn't really allowed to watch that sort of, content. Yeah, no wonder they remind you of Dark Crystal. Yeah, it's the same guy. It's Jim Henson. All this shit is very weird like that, dude, and creepy. But he's for sure a genius. I'm not going to bed. What am I doing? He's for sure a genius, though. No question. But yeah, all of his stuff has the same energy, same vibes. That dude was like the biggest stoner in the whole world, no question. I mean, you can't come up with stuff like that unless you're just a hopeless pothead. There's no chance. If he was a sober boy, I would be so surprised. All right, we're going to work this day out right now, burned out for energy, get ourselves some more trees and moss and wood, whatever else, and then we're going to call it a night, and then I'm going to go check on my other farm a little bit. Just because I want to see my dinosaur get born. Some of us are, but when you do what religion do you follow for fun, we always put Judaism. A Judaism? Okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about, yeah. Yeah, I tell people I'm agnostic because I do believe in a higher power. I just don't think he's keeping what do you call that? Keeping attendance. I don't remember who said that. It was a smarter man than me once said, I believe in a higher power. I just don't think he keeps attendance. I don't think he's going like, did this person show up this Sunday to sit in a pew and with, you know, get a numb ass and listen to some smarty pants pretend to talk about the book I wrote? You know, like, I don't believe any of that shit. I think organized religion is a fucking sham. I think if the good Lord came back, if Jesus came back today, I think he'd go into each and every single church in my entire country and he'd tip over the fucking tables like he did in the Bible, in the good book. You show me a church without a gift shop where they're selling books and making money. You show me a church that doesn't pass around a plate they expect you to put cash into, and I'll show you an actual place of religion and a place where the Lord lives. You know what I mean? You read the book, dude. The dude was on the side of a hill handing out, you know, fishes and loaves and shit. Like, he was like, yeah, let's just go meet over on that hill. I'll tell you some things. Like, he wasn't like, in this building, this magic building with the magic... Fuck out of here, dude. With my special clothing, I'm the Pope. I wear a special hat. Like, what are we doing? Fuck out of here, dude. I have beliefs. I don't have a structured belief system. I think that's stupid. That's my 2 cents. That's where I land on the whole thing. In fact, that's my favorite part of the Bible, dude. I was forced to read that as a kid. Love that part where Jesus goes into the church and he's like, sees all the people selling stuff and, you know, making money off his name. And he's like, yo, he starts tipping stuff over. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? None of this should be happening here. It's the house of the Lord. I was like, yeah, bro. Look at him. He's getting ruckus. That was my favorite part. It was like, oh, word. And then my whole life getting drugged from church to church to church to church. And I'm going like, in every single one of these churches, I'm like, yo, there's somebody selling something. Jesus would be pissed. Like, right in the book. He'd be pissed at that. Why are you doing that? That would make Jesus very mad. I thought we were Team Jesus. Fuck. Oh, you mean the guy that was... We should sit and listen to this guy and take his word as gospel? The guy that was just out there selling his book? We should listen to this guy? Okay. The guy driving the Cadillac? The guy getting paid to be here? That's the guy we should listen to? What the fuck are we doing? Never made any sense to me. All right, so let's kick rocks over to my other farm. We made a good, 3-hour pull on this one. I'm very excited to show you the other one. Now, this is not my best farm, but it's the best farm I've gotten on PC. My best farm is on PlayStation somewhere, and it's pretty much gone forever. Okay. Flaky, bye-bye. Thanks for playing. Thunder, let's get it. All right, so as you can see, I'm working on an aquarium area right here. We're going to put in 2 or 3 more aquariums and get some rare fish in there and stuff. Those are just standard fish right now. We're going to get rare fish in here eventually. But every day what I do is I come down my stairs. I check on my barleys and my what have yous. And I've just been expanding these too. I just recently put in these extra rows right here. That's why they're not synced up. And I just put in this extra bedroom here with these rows as well. So these are all kind of brand new. I have them set up in sets of 5 because that's where I'm at with my watering can. So I can do the 5 on the double dink dink. On the dink dink, I can get 5 at once. So I set them up for 5 at once. Eventually, I'm going to set up the ones up here on the on the main floor for fivers, but right now I have it on a 3-5 situation. Eventually I'll have to set it up where, like, if I do 5s on this side, I'll have to, like, take this keg out here so I can move through these naturally. Because if I do 5 over here, it blocks me off. I like being able to walk this way down into the room, you know? But this is where I make my seeds off my hops to make more, you know. And then these are all my different, you know, sometimes I do some grapes. I do wine in the basement. Hops up here. I'm spreading on the star fruit right now. Iridium scythe, you can harvest the crops you hit with it. It's faster than doing it by hand. Is that right? Interesting. I'll have to look into that. And then down here we have like 3 different kinds of wine going right now. This shit takes a very long time, but you know, it's whatever. It's a nice passive thing. Up here I have the ingredients for the, you know, I do sushis, I do, you know, pancakes, I do a few things. So I keep some supplies there for when I need to make food. Right now, you know, I got my pancakes on me, so we're set up. We're good. We're fine. Oh, it's the first day of fall. Holy shit, it's the first day of fall. Okay, so what I have basically is I walk out my front door and I have, you know, the only crops I really grow. I just put 1 crop in here. It's whatever. It makes me a little money. It waters itself with iridiums. It's fine, right? Over here, I have just whatever crop I feel like. A few things. I'm doing star fruits pretty heavily right now, but I just, you know, whatever. It's just a place to grow crops. I don't really care about crops that much, I'll be honest. Down here, I start moving into my orchard. Year 3. I have my, okay, see now here's where I got a problem. See, look, these are 2 different kinds of trees. God damn it, I knew I did it wrong. These trees are supposed to be over here. I'm gonna have to chop these trees down. Pomegranates are right here. That's not a pomegranate though. See, my orchard's not correct. I need to set this up better. Because these ones are all correct. And this is oranges right here. But I think this might be oranges as well. I didn't set it up great. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. I'm going to do it perfect on my McNugget farm. But then this is my jammery in here. This is where I make my jams. I don't have a ton of barrels yet. I can continue the barrels. I'm going to continue the barrels. But for right now, I just got a starter amount of barrels. And then I'm a big fan of the mushroom pod things. So I have those lined over here. All the way across over here. All the way across over here. And those are good. Oh, flour. Let me grab that. Thank you. And then over here I got a place where I plant right here. I plant flowers in the middle there, and we get lots of honey. Then this is where I do all my, you know, iron bars and what have you. I turn everything into right here. And then these are my animals up here. I'm mostly ducks and rabbits, so they each have their own little duck and rabbit area. Everything's got its own grabber, obviously. I'm not picking up shit off the ground anymore. Like, we're not doing that, you know? I don't do that stuff. I got auto feeders for everything. Everything's auto fed. Yeah, you can color the coops. You just got to go to Rob and you can make the coops whatever color you want. This one's ducks, this one's bunnies. This one over here is goat, and then the pigs have a God, that's loud. The pigs have a pink one. Where's the volume for the Yeah, so I got to go in here. I got to grab the milks from there, and then I'm hoping to. I've been clearing this out because I'm hoping to set one of these barns up over here, maybe for cows. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna set a barn up over here on this side too, where Grandpa is. Wait, I have a diamond. Hold on, let me get this done real quick. I bought an auto grabber for the truffles, but turns out that that's not how truffles work. So that was kind of a bummer to find out. But yeah, see how they're all backed up against the river? So like they all have water access. I like that about my farm. Like they go into the water. The duck goes out there and swims in the river. Like the ducks and stuff, they have access to the water. I need to clear back some of these trees. They're starting to impede on my ability to see the truffles, but we'll fix that when we can. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I'm stockpiling up all that stuff, dude. I'm gonna make more of all those things at some point, right? Usually, I keep the honey over here, and anything I grab from the trees up in here with the saps and the whatnot, you know. And then electricity stuff's over here. Well, that's all, you know, whatever it is. Oh, I gotta drop the stuff off inside. All I'm looking for is a walleye fish, and then my community center's done. The community center's been done with the exception of one fish for a year and a half, 2 years now. I can't catch that one fish. It's driving me nuts. I can't catch a walleye. You gotta fish at night. I almost never fish at night. I never think to do it, you know? The best thing I ever got for my house, brother, is this, or sister, is this one. Right here. Look. This little thing right here, this catalog, you buy it once for, I think, $30,000, and then you can have any and all of these whenever you want them. It's just whatever wallpaper you want, and then whatever floor you want. And it doesn't cost anything. I can just grab these. It's a one-time price. It never costs any money. So then, like, I can do this. I'm not going to do this because this looks terrible, but... Oh, blue floor. Oh, the paths? Oh, okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me... Hold on, I just fucked my floor up. Let me fix my floor real quick. That looks ridiculous. The paths, I bought that recipe from, I think I bought it from Robin. Pretty sure Robin has those for sale at a certain point. I bought that. I also bought the cobblestone path, which I haven't done yet. I'm tempted to at some point do that path though. It's right here. No, where is it? Crystal floor? No. Oh, it's a fancier wood floor. But yeah, you basically buy it for $4 or $5 grand from Robin, and then you can just build it whenever you want, the rustic floor plan. But since it's for the... Oh, god damn it, I'm going to miss a whole day of crops right there. When does Pierre's close today? I don't even know. Here, dude, take this. You're welcome. Yeah, no problem, dude. Sardines, yeah, whatever. I might do sardines. We'll have to see. Pierre, what's good? Okay, cool. Nobody asked. Pierre, you gonna come? Okay. He's right here, dude. Pierre. Come on, dude. Oh, you're a dick. What a dick. I mean, I do have seeds at the house. Let me see what I got at the house. Maybe I got something I can plant. But yeah, I need to catch a walleye. That's literally the last thing I have. And the community center's done, and I get the cutscene where we punch out JoJo, and it's the whole, you know. Then I can get to the boat, right? Willie gets all interested in fixing up his boat after you finish the community center, I'm pretty sure. Okay, what are we doing? Seeds. Seeds are right here. Summer, winter. Where's fall? This is fall, right? Yeah, I'm pretty much in a holding pattern till I can get I gotta catch a walleye. It's the whole thing. It's you know, I've had a walleye. By the way, it's just been the walleye for about, I don't know, a month. No, it's been like probably about a year. I just don't do it. I've just been stacking up money and stuff. Where is the... Where did I end up putting that? Over here? Yep. I just do basic fertilizer. I'm not a... I know there's fancier fertilizers, but this one just takes sap, and I have no other real reason to use sap, so I generally just use the basic fertilizer. I mean, I guess you can make... I don't know. There's other stuff you can do with sap, I guess, but like nothing that's as, to me, meaningful as like some nice basic fertilizer. I mean, quality fertilizer for sure is better. I know I have a recipe for it, but there's one thing involved in that recipe that I don't find that often, or there's one thing. Where was it? Oh, fish. Yeah, I guess I could do... I don't do enough fishing. For quality fertilizer, I don't do enough fish. I should fish more. Maybe then... the problem is when I fish, I'm going to use those for sushi. I'm going to use those for something else, you know? I'm going to use those for some other recipe that's going to have a benefit as well. So, like, I feel like... Yeah, the quality fertilizer is better than the basic fertilizer, but, like, who gives a shit? Is kind of where my head's at with that. Alright, is that the best I can do with seeds for the fall? Because who gives a shit? I'm Captain Grab a Seed, you know? Whatever seed it is. Summer... Fall? Fall. What's this one? Because I'm kind of past farming. Like, I don't really care about farming. I would call myself more of a rancher. I really like the animals. I think that's more fun. Like getting a cool amount of animals together. That's why with my new farm that I'm doing for the stream, like the McNugget farm, I'm basically just almost exclusively doing an orchard, you know, with fruits from the trees, and then just a lot of chickens. Because like I've realized what stuff I like and don't like, you know. Ooh, Chomi gave birth to another pig. Let's go. Porky. Not my most creative name for a pig, but whatever. All right, so that's... I'm not going to spend all day on this right now. I just wanted to show you guys, in case people were wondering. It's not my... I have two farms. All right. So just because I'm only like 9 hours into my McNugget farm, that's just the only farm I use. I play on stream. Okay, pretty much, except for right there where I was just playing Thunder. But Flaky is my stream farm. Okay, so it's slow and steady wins the race on that. But eventually, this farm will be bigger and more beautiful than this one ever is. Because I've made mistakes on my Thunder farm that I won't make on Flaky. So like, trust me, we'll figure it out. It's gonna be good. For now, though, I think I'm gonna leave it here. Perfect place to stop for the day. I got a little bit of laundry to do. I got to do some whites. And some general busybodying around the house. What have you. Appreciate everybody stopping by and watching. You guys are all the homies. You guys are all good eggs. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, all right? For now, I'm out of here, though. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the Instagram if you want to.